All right, we get it rolling on the Krueg Show after 49er football. The Niners get a huge win on the road against the Steelers. Welcome to the Pig in a Pickle extravaganza on the postgame. Fire up the band, 30-7. Wow. 49ers get it done on the road, 30-7. And we're going to get it done right now in the house today. The great Kevin Krueger in the center square in his bedroom, locked away. There you go. Ryan Smith is in the house. Bay Area Baller is there as well. Dan Coach Emilio, good to see you, Danny. And guys, what a game. 49ers get it done on the road. They win 30-7. Almost everything that you wanted to see, you saw in this game. Drake Jackson coming out party. He was huge. 3 sacks. Brandon Ayuk. Talked about it all summer. He's going to have a career year. He got on his way towards it today. 8 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then if you were in the camp that said that Brock Purdy's something, well, guess what? Brock Purdy was something today in Pittsburgh. He took care of the football, took 3 or 4 sacks, but, man, he had a key 18-yard run, 18-yard run on 3rd and 12 in that fourth quarter. And show the emotion. That was a huge play. That's the kind of play that, Mahomes doesn't run a lot, but he runs when the money's on the table. And that was Purdy running with the money on the table. CMC was huge. Dre Greenlaw hit like a truck today. Oh, my God. It was amazing to watch that. Wishnowski with a couple of big punts. The rookie kicker went 3 for 3. Mooney Ward was questionable with the heel. He got a pick. Kyle gets a much-needed win. He's now 3-4 in his 7 week 1 games. And, man, the Niner defense ruled the day. Pittsburgh offense had 2 yards in the first quarter, and they made their first down like right around the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. So huge win for the 49ers. Let's go around the room and give me your perspective on the win. Who wants to go first?
I'll jump in. This
Baller,
was
you know what? I'll just make you go first. Go ahead, Baller.
I love it. It was a dominant performance on both sides of the ball. Defensively, I thought this D-line had Kenny Pickett under duress all game long. Pickett was just uncomfortable, threw the ball 40-something times, and they were all little short passes because this D-line was getting after him. You mentioned Drake Jackson, 3 sacks. Love to see that. But really, I thought in the first half, it was Eric Armstead who was getting a ton of penetration, also shutting down the run game. The defense was spectacular. And then Brandon Ayuk, I thought BA was the best player on the field today. He was unguardable, winning all over the field, creating tons and tons of separation. You mentioned the 2 touchdown catches. One of them was a back shoulder catch in traffic. The other, his first touchdown, he broke the corner's ankles. The corner was laying on the floor. That's how badly Ayuk routed him up. And Brock Purdy was just phenomenal. The kid is a playmaker. He's quick as a cat. He will make you miss, escape the pocket. He's making plays all over the field. It was just a dominant. Love to see it week 1.
Yeah, I agree with you, Baller. I totally, I went out on a limb and drafted Ayuk early in the fantasy the other night. I thought he's going to have a big year. I took him over St. Brown, Amon St. Brown, and I thought, oh, did I make a mistake? And today it looks like may pay off. But the other night on my show, we were talking Niners. A lot of people, I think even maybe Larry, I don't know if you changed your tune recently, but you kind of thought Pittsburgh was going to win the first game, I think, because they play so tough there. I heard you say that a month or so ago. Don't know if you recently changed it, but I was kind of like the only one on my show. I said, I think the Niners offense is going to come out. There's not been a lot of talk about the offense as far, it's all been about Purdy, Lance, whole drama. And I thought, man, I think they're going to come out explosive today. And I thought they'd put up 31 points. I said 31-17 on my show the other night. And everyone else had the Steelers. And I just felt like that the Niner offense had a lot to prove because I think they want to make a statement Now you got McCaffrey in there in camp all year. He knows the offense, and Purdy knows the offense, and Ayuk's ready to break out. It just felt like a unit that it reminded me that they were going to be more like the Bill Walsh era. Come down, explosive, start the game and score, and put, because Kyle's been criticized all off season, and rightfully so, for not ever putting the pedal to the metal. And this is the team you can put guys away with. And that's what I want to see him do. Do what Bill Walsh used to do, win the game at halftime. It's over. And that's what I want to see the Niners do. And they did it today. Hopefully they can continue this. So that's what I'm taking out of this. And obviously the defense played lights out.
Yeah, and Larry's rebooting right now. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but tell me what you guys think about this. I mean, the defense played great, but I really thought the offense was surprising today. It reminded me a lot of the Bucs game, where the offense came out real hot in the first half. Brock Purdy played really great. The second half, he just handed the ball off all game long, and the game ended that way. Also, Brandon Ayuk in that Bucs game got a touchdown. But yeah, that was a similar game where all the sharps were going Bucs because it was Brady against a rookie quarterback. And this was a similar game where the Steelers were like, oh, +3, take the Steelers. And I was just like, I don't see that. I don't see them covering. This team is significantly better. I just thought those two games were really similar. But yeah, the offense and Purdy, I mean, looked great today. Oh.
You ain't kidding. The offense was phenomenal. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he was toting the rock. I was thinking coming into the game, we would see a bit of a split, right? Potentially see some TDP, Jordan Mason and, Eli Mitchell. But no, Christian McCaffrey carries the heavy load, 22 carries for 152 yards. He also added 3 receptions. So the game plan was to get McCaffrey the rock early and often. And he came out of that halftime and busted off that 65-yard TD run where you had Brandon Ayuk. We're talking about he's performing, catching the rock. How about that block where he just exploded Kazee, knocked him on his butt on that CMC run? You also had McLeod blocking downfield. So you love to see your wide receivers get involved in the running game. And it's a requirement of Kyle Shanahan. He requires his receivers to block. So McCaffrey, he was phenomenal today.
I guess I'll go. So there was just so much serotonin just flowing.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, it was just, it was a morning of just dopamine hits. Like the Niners got out to just such an early lead, and everything was good. Everything was good. I'd say like there's a couple questions coming in for me. Like what's going to be good with Moody? Is he gonna just boof one? And is this going to be a thing all year? No. Awesome. Even didn't get shook by that kind of blocked kick. Didn't end up counting, but like just the fact that he came back and nailed the next one. And yeah, this team just, especially looking at all the other like inept kind of offenses and weirdness around the league today, like this is just a professional team with a lot of continuity. And I almost forgot about how like all time their defense is, because obviously like everyone spends the offseason talking about the quarterback. And it's like, the defense is just all time as well. And the last thing I'll say is, God, it is nice to have Purdy. And probably the worst, I'm sorry, Steelers fans, but probably the worst position you can possibly be in is to have a Kenny Pickett. He's just good enough to get your hopes up. And like, he just, he's just,
he looked awful today, right? Kenny Pickett looked awful. I was kind of fooled by this preseason, right? I'm watching some of this preseason and Pickett's lighting it up. So coming into the game, I was concerned. Well, shame on me, because this defense had Kenny Pickett rattled all day.
Yeah, they did. They did, and
they put pressure on him. They put a lot of pressure on him. I mean, can you hear me?
A little
you're
in and
a little
out.
fuzzy. You're a little fuzzy, Larry, but we can hear you. It's a little delayed.
You can hear me? Well, All I would say is just it seemed like the 49er defense is just, I think the part that nobody talked about was that it's a really great personnel group that got Hargrave. And so they're better up front. And then Drake Jackson, we talked about it all summer. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. He catched the passer and 3 sacks. I mean, 3 sacks. And if you saw him last year and you see him this year, I mean, you can see he's much stronger in the upper body, but also he's getting one-on-ones. You got Hargrave, Armstead, and Bosa, and Drake's got even if he doesn't win with his initial move, he can work back quarterback and get coverage sacks and make some big plays. And he's got crazy bend. He was awesome today. And then Ayuk, we talked about it all summer. Ayuk was uncoverable all summer. You watch the Niners, CMC looks great, Debo looks great, but Ayuk looks like he's going to have an all-time year. And sure enough, it wasn't just that Ayuk had 8 catches for 129. It looked so easy for Brock Purdy and him. I mean, it just seemed like Purdy had found him in these great soft spots. There was always like some separation in him and the defensive back. The timing was perfect on those on many of those throws. To see, I mean, the 49ers right now, this looked like a really tough spot, but I thought the 49ers would. They showed up physically, but they didn't show up like mentally. They had a couple busted plays. Greenlaw had a couple late hits. This year, I thought they were physical, but within rules and both sides of the football, maybe on special teams too, because today the kicker and the punter can get on the plane and feel really good because both those guys contributed huge to this win.
Can we get Mitch to run a fake punt? Because the guy runs a 4.6 and he's like a 6'4", like grizzled Australian. Like that was pretty sick when he picked up
former rugby player.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see that.
Yeah, he almost got the first on that. I mean, they obviously took the penalty, but 3 more yards and he would have had the first down.
Absolutely. A couple of players I wanted to touch on. Fred Warner. I thought Fred Warner was exceptional today, flying all over the field. He was shooting run gaps, making tackles for loss. The Hufanga interception, right? Fred Warner's running like 20 yards down the seam, tips it up, gets a hand on it, Huff intercepts it. And coming into the game, I was concerned about Hufanga, right? We knew about this knee injury, so I was wondering if he was going to be flying around making plays, per usual. And I loved what I saw from Hufanga. I thought he looked good. Fred Warner, like I said, best linebacker in the game, a great game for Fred, and then Dre Greenlaw, that dude is so freaking physical. I thought he had a number of just hard-hitting tackles. Also a nice play in coverage on the tight end Hayward down in the red zone, made sure that the pass wasn't going to be caught.
Laid a lick on him.
He was hitting hard all day. So Greenlaw, and it was kind of borderline. You heard some of the Steelers fans, like they wanted a flag on a couple of these hits that were close to the sideline. But hey, Dre, that's just how he's wired. He plays kind of borderline, like he gets flagged once in a while, but plays hard, and he's just a tough, physical, hard-nosed player.
All right, I think I'm now connected. Does it seem a little bit quicker?
Little quicker, but
anyway. Guys, incredible win.
I would just leave the stream and rejoin.
What's the issue? Can you guys hear me?
Just leave the stream and rejoin. I think your camera will fix itself.
Okay.
The Ethernet cable was not plugged into the router, so that was the problem.
The classic. That long ass internet cable.
Instead of Larry, I thought it was weekend at Bernie's there for a while. There he looked a little.
It was in the mountains.
You know what I liked out of the gate, fellas? Because the one kind of criticism I have about Shanahan on occasion is that like he's a little too conservative. And I love the fact that how on that first drive, right, it kind of stalled out. I forget what yard line we were at, but it was
Close to the 50.
fourth. It was, yeah, it was fourth and short. And Kyle, he goes for it. And he chose to be in the shotgun. And it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. I'm like, my
Yes.
God, why are we in the gun, right? But it was just a beautiful, hey, play action. We're running Kittle across. And when you get it to Kittle on those short range situations,
Yeah.
I like the odds of Kittle, with just how tenacious he is of getting a couple yards and converting that first down. So I commend Shanahan for being a little more aggressive.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping it's something that he continues as the year progresses.
Absolutely, Baller. I thought he was when he went into the shotgun. I think Pittsburgh was expecting the QB sneak. The famous 4th and 1 Niners.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, 98% of the time they're in the 4th and 1. They go to the QB sneak, but when he went shotgun, I was like, oh my goodness, yeah, that was gutsy. That's what we were talking about the other night when we saw Thursday Night Football. You were bringing it up, Baller, about Campbell going for it, fake punt on his own 18. And it's like, Kyle would never do that. And then it's like he goes for it on the opening drive, 4th and 1, basically right around midfield. I thought that was brilliant. They had it in their mind. I believe they were intent on, before this game started, opening drive, we're going to score. And he was hell-bent on it. I loved it.
Yeah, it was a great win for the 49ers on the road for sure. I mean, my goodness, to be able to go into Pittsburgh and get this one, and I thought Cleveland Farrell and Drake on that first drive kind of set the tone. And then Purdy was fantastic on the second drive, on the first touchdown drive to make it 7-0. The Niners, I don't know, what was more surprising to you guys, that the Niner offensive line could block that Steeler defensive front, or that the Niner defense could really totally stymie a Steeler offense that in the preseason, looked awesome. I mean, they went 5 drives, they scored 5 touchdowns, they spread the ball around, they had a great rhythm. What was more impressive to you guys?
Had to be how that defense dominated. I'm going with the defense. I mean, that defensive line was just squeezing the pocket on Kenny Pickett all night, and all day. He just could not function. So while the offensive line was impressive, I thought the D line was just completely dominant.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The offensive line I thought was actually kind of mediocre, because there was a lot of pressure. Purdy got sacked how many times? 3 times? 2 times?
Right tackle.
Three sacks.
Yeah. Towards the end of the game, McGlinchey was getting beat a lot. And
there were
Purdy
7 hits on the quarterback. 7
How about
hits.
that one play from Purdy where there was a free rusher and he just escaped the pocket without even seeing the guy almost? That was a great play.
Now, where was that? Was that in the third quarter?
No, that was early.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that play. Yeah, that was an amazing play. That was 2nd and 8, 49ers on their 5th drive. This was, late second quarter. They didn't actually wind up scoring on the drive, but it's 2nd and 8 from the Steeler 47, and it looks like, to me, he's got Minkah Fitzpatrick, and then he gets away from him and finds Deebo Samuel for the first down. That was an impressive play. The way he's kind of spun around from that, got out of contain, and showed mobility. The one thing about this offseason discussion, there's been an awful lot of, Shanahan sucks, and he's gonna fall on his face, and Brock Purdy was a flash in the pan, and wait till teams see him this year, and just so much negativity around these guys. When many of these people missing the story, which was the 49ers were in the NFC Championship game last year and have been there a lot under Kyle Shanahan, and Purdy played really good, smart, efficient football and was almost guaranteed to be better at least more knowledgeable about this offense in year 2. And yet, it seemed like it was almost the prevailing wisdom that he somehow got lucky last year, and because of the elbow and this and that, he wasn't going to be the same. And I just, the 49ers were favored to win this game in Pittsburgh. So obviously, Vegas knew something, but it wasn't a big spread. And it just seemed like almost everybody that I looked picked Pittsburgh. I don't know. I mean, all the NFL.com people, I thought it was like 7 out of 10 picked Pittsburgh.
Oh, I thought Pittsburgh was going to win too. I don't think they're better or anything. It's just Tomlin is unbelievable week 1 of the season. And then the Niners just they've had tendencies under Shanahan to kind of botch it a little bit at the beginning of the season, start 2-3, 2-4, and then they get rolling. The thing that really impresses me, it's almost feels like this team is like, I don't know, that like college basketball team or college football team that's like returning all their starters and they're all seniors. And it's like, I don't know, they look like a different team from anybody else that I watched today. They just look like it's all the same dudes. They're extremely talented. It was just taking care of business. Like, I almost felt like watching the Dubs or something.
Yeah, I really felt like the Niners focus. I think they have a tunnel vision this year to get off to an explosive start. I said the other night, I think they, after going into their bye, I feel like this is an 8-1 type team because they have started 3-5, 4-5 the last couple of years, and they've had to fight and use a lot of energy just to make the playoffs. And this year feels like, after the way they went down last year, after winning 10, 12 straight, before going into Philadelphia, I feel like they just want to get a big jump on the season, take care of business, go out and play really solid ball. And the 49ers under Bill Walsh won a lot of games. They were over at halftime. And when you do that, when you crush an opponent in the first half, it's very tough for that team to come back because they have to abandon the run. Guys are just going off the line, forgetting about the run, and you can substitute different guys. You can get guys rested. It's kind of like the Warriors. Remember when the Warriors were running people off the floor, and Curry and Thompson and KD, they got a lot of rest. They went into the playoffs. They didn't have a lot of minutes logged on them. I think the focus this year, Niners crush the opponents right out of the gate, and then you go into the playoffs a lot fresher. I think they have to, because their goal has to be Super Bowl or bust this year.
No doubt. I mean, and you can tell that it is. There's an intensity around the facility. There's a focus. There's a uneasiness, if you want to call it that, a determination. They know their window. If they, at least they feel like for some of the key guys, there's always going to be urgency in a football team. And the older you get, the more urgency you have. So there's a lot of urgency on Trent Williams. There's a lot of urgency on George Kittle. And the, careers go by in a blink of an eye in the NFL. That's just kind of the reality of the violence of the game. So, yeah, there is a real urgency about this thing. If there was one thing that I think was surprising, guys, to me in this game, is that Christian McCaffrey got 25 touches, and the next most touches was Ayuk with 8. To me, that I was surprised. I mean, if you had asked me at the beginning of the game, would McCaffrey get touches? I would think he would get touches in a lot of them, but 25 touches. I mean, for only 5 carries for Elijah Mitchell, no carries at all for J.P. Mason. He was like the exclusive guy. He ran for 6.9 a carry. And to me, he had the biggest play of the game. I thought the play of the game was that 65-yarder to the house in the third quarter. I mean, at that point, it's 20-7 at half. And that, the game's hanging in the balance. And he goes 65 yards for 6, and it goes 27-7. To me, that was the play of the game. And it wasn't just him. It was the fact that Ray and Ayuk got down the field and picked up big blocks. And when that happens, your whole sideline's feeling good. Your receivers are getting involved, blocking for your back. You're up 27-7. To me, that one put it on ice. But were you guys surprised about the distribution, 25-8, as far as 1 versus 2?
A little bit I was. I thought J.P. Mason would get a few touches. Eli, maybe a couple more, but hey, they came out. Kyle Shanahan wanted to make a statement, get the ball to his blue chip star, Christian McCaffrey, and McCaffrey came through. I thought McCaffrey's vision was just phenomenal. He gets a crease, he sees the hole, boom. He's not wasting any time tap dancing. He's hitting the hole, and Kyle Shanahan requires his wide receivers to block. If you want to play, you better be blocking in the run game. And
Ayuk blocking was downfield on that.
Blew him up. He DT knocked Kazee out of the play.
You see him? He just boom, just knocked him,
ejected him. It was the ejection button.
Yeah.
And then how about our guy Ray, right? Ray. I talked to Ray this week, and Ray, another guy who's just. He's a great story, man. I mean, he's from Pittsburgh. I mean, he's not from Pittsburgh, but he played with the Steelers, and he had a bunch of people in the house, and I thought he had a tremendous game. I mean, he had the fair catch when it mattered in the first half. That was a smart decision. And then to block like that down the field on that running touchdown, Ray's on the other side of the field, man. He's on the other side of the field and ran all the way over there and was just like, you know what, I'm getting out in front of McCaffrey. And when you do that, I mean, and guys like that who are leaders do that, man, it just lifts up the whole room.
Hey, and he had a nice punt return, too. He had a 15 or 20-yard punt return in the second
20
half.
yards.
He caught that thing, boom, exploded.
Yeah, because it went off it deflected off of a Niner. He had to pick it up. And heads up play. Hey, obviously the most important thing is get a win, but next important is come out healthy. Any report? I didn't see anybody injured today. That anybody get a post-game report on the player conditions?
What happened to Trent?
He was back in there, though.
Yeah, it looked like he hit. Maybe lost his wind or got hit up in the ribs. I mean, he was grabbing his sternum area. I don't know, but he did come back in, I believe.
I didn't see anything else. Hopefully, everybody came out and is available for next week. Just got a report on my phone. J.K. Dobbins out for the year with a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's a bad break. When you lose a key guy in week 1 for the season, that is just a killer. But, this went about as well as it could have gone for the 49ers, if you really think about it. Because, I mean, they're getting Bosa back. They want to make sure, he doesn't have any kind of little ding pulls in the first game. They got through the first game without that happening. And he made an impact, and he played a number of snaps. And then you got Jackson, who really came of age in this game, and I'm sure will be bursting with confidence. You've got Warner and Greenlaw playing at a ridiculously high level. And I don't know if you guys even saw this, but Oren Burks also made a really nice play in this game. He got in there a little bit in the base. So, their linebackers are playing well. And then Hufanga, Hufanga's just a tremendous player. Mooney Ward, Lenore looks quite a bit better than he was a year ago. He's stronger. He knows how to play. He's a little bit more intimidating now. He's a little bit more of a hitter. The Niners look good on all 3 levels. Now, the depth could get tested as time goes on. They get the Rams next week at SoFi, but the 49ers, can fashion themselves as a Super Bowl contender, and today I think the nation saw why. Right? I think today, I should say, the people watching across the country saw that, the Steelers are going to win a lot of games this year. Yeah, the Steelers are pretty daunting on defense, and they've got some nice pieces on offense. And I don't think Kenny Pickett's terrible, but I said it the other night. I said Brock Purdy's a lot better than Kenny Pickett, and it's all about accuracy. And Kenny Pickett made a number of throws where he was behind guys on key plays on third downs where Brock was more accurate most of the day. So, great win for the 49ers, and everything that we saw this summer everybody saw today, which was Jackson. Wow, he's on a different level. Sure enough, you get to week 1, he is. Brandon Ayuk, wow, this guy looks like he's primed for a career year. You get to week 1, he bust out. Purdy, wow, this guy looks pretty accurate and making a lot of plays and going down the field and, making it happen in the 11-on-11s a lot this summer. Sure enough, he's out there making plays, and when you need that big running play to convert a key third down in the fourth quarter on a 3rd and 12, he converts it. So the guy, I'd like to see him not run as much and not be so courageous, but he's obviously a great leader. They've got a tremendous group of weapons, And I'll say this, because when you really think about the opposition, the story of the day really should be Colton McKivitz and, Aaron Banks and that Niner offensive line that stood up to a Steeler line that overwhelmed all three teams that they played in the preseason, and just absolutely did an incredible job. TJ Watt made some plays, and he obviously had the big sack and forced fumble. But, by the way, how about that? Brock Purdy has strong enough hands that he can keep the ball away from TJ Watt when it's behind his back.
Isn't that something?
I mean, that's
not only the strength to do that, but the mindset. How many, just instinct just to reach around and hold it against his, back. So, I mean, that was
how do you do that?
I mean, hey, when he did that, I was like, oh my goodness, somebody could have come crashing into his shoulder going for the fumble, and it would have been
wrist.
It would have been.
He was doing this. He was doing
like
that, and I was like, oh fuck, like what?
I know.
Man.
I saw that too. He looked like he was loosening up the wrist. We'll have to see, injury wise, Danny, because the way that you're going on adrenaline,
right?
And then sometimes these games end, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this guy's got this, and this guy's got that. It was a hard hitting game. And the Steelers are a hard-hitting outfit for sure, but the Niners just beat them to the punch. Never let their offense get any rhythm going, and got them to go 3 and out. And it was a number of really smart plays at the beginning of this game. I mean, the Cleveland Farrell second down play on the first drive, was a terrific defensive play. It was a nice tackle for a loss against Calvin Austin, and then Drake got the sack on the next play. On the next drive, it was Lenore with a solo tackle against Austin on 2nd and 12 to set up a 3rd and 5, and then Mooney gets the interception after pressure, and it wasn't even tons of pressure from Bosa, Armstead, and Warner. They were just all there, and he floated one down the field. It's another Kenny Pickett moment where I felt like, he just kind of throws it out there. That ball was not well thrown. It was not advisable. There was Niners all around that area, and sure enough, it got picked off. The receiver slipped as well on that play, but either way, that was going to be at best a 50-50 ball. So a lot of good things. Jake Moody, I thought, what'd you guys think of Moody?
I loved it. I'm high on Moody. I actually, in the pre-draft, in the mock draft, had the Niners picking him.
Was that? And Dan, did you really just brag about your mock fantasy draft?
No, not fantasy in the NFL draft.
But did you know how to sign up? Did you know how to sign up once the draft happened? Remember,
this year
we had drafting issues last year.
This year I was fired up, ready to go. No kinks this year, but no, I think Moody. I watched him at Michigan. Guys, he's pretty accurate kicker. He's got a better leg than Gould. I mean, with the salary cap and the fact that Gould was getting old, it was time to get a rookie kicker that you could keep for 10 years. And I just think, he's got a better leg, and once he gets the confidence. But I want to go back to a couple quick plays in the game that, Jackson got 3 sacks. That one play where Pickett got out of the pocket and he chased him down, I don't think it was a sack, but he dove and got him from behind at the ankles. That was behind.
I thought they gave him a sack on that.
Did they give him a sack on that one?
They did.
Okay, I think
that was one of the sacks. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a great play. But the other thing I wanted to ask you guys is I was watching as close as I could to figure out. But it didn't look like Wilkes blitzed a ton. I saw Hufanga blitz once. He kind of got picked up. But Wilkes is known for blitzing his defense. Do you think the way the game was playing out that he pulled back some of his, not to show everything? Because I didn't see a ton of blitzing from the linebackers or safeties.
You know what? I was going to touch on that because I thought I did see Wilkes blitzing just a tad more than D'Amico.
More than D'Amico, but not as much as he has in the past.
Yeah, well, once you jump out to that 3-score lead,
exactly.
They were playing soft shells at the end.
You're right, exactly. That second half in the fourth quarter, they were giving up anything underneath, not to give up anything big. But I thought I thought Wilkes was mixing in some blitzes, second down, third down, send Huff, send Greenlaw, send Fred Warner. I thought he was actually blitzing a little bit more than his predecessors. But I wanted to touch on something Larry said about the O-line. I thought the left side and the center, Trent, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, I thought were outstanding. Spencer Burford, I know he got flagged a couple times. Other than that, I think he was solid. But the right tackle, I got to be honest, McKivitz, I know he's blocking one of the best edges in the game when you're talking TJ Watt, but TJ Watt beat him a couple times where McKivitz, gave him no resistance. So I know it's one of the best defenders, but I wasn't that impressed with Colton McKivitz. I also thought the Niners did a good job of helping him a lot, whether it was, George Kittle kind of chipping him or, McCaffrey before he gets out in his route kind of getting in his way or Juszczyk. Like I thought they helped out McKivitz, but when they didn't, it was a problem.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think I called McGlinchey. I called McKivitz McGlinchey earlier in the show, but yeah, McKivitz was he wasn't very good. I would argue with you, Dad, and say that I didn't think the line played that well just because of McKivitz. TJ Watt had 3 sacks.
Think about it, though.
A tackle for a loss.
Think about this, though.
Come on.
I mean, the Niners ran against the Steelers in the Steelers' place for 5.5 yards a carry. They ran for 188 yards on 34 attempts. All I'm saying is, if you look at, TJ Watt is a great, great player. This guy 2 years ago was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in his own right. And Alex Highsmith also was fantastic, I think, in this game today on the other side against Trent. But, TJ Watt is a game-wrecking monster. And the fact that the Niners kept him to 5 tackles, 3 sacks, and 1 tackle for a loss and 1 fumble recovery. He had 5 hits on the quarterback. That's what he does. You know what I mean? That's why he's TJ Watt. So it's just, he is really, really special. I know McKivitz, at least they had some success running the ball, and I didn't feel like Watt totally took over the game throughout the game. But you're right. A player like TJ Watt is just so damn good that you just can't keep him down. You can't keep him down, and he's a force of nature still. People forget he had 5.5 sacks last year. It's because he only played 10 games. If he had played a bunch of games, he would have been a whole lot better. The other thing to me that was interesting in this game is that I thought Shanahan seemed a little conservative in the second half by running the ball on like 2nd and 9 on that one drive. But then he got bailed out because Wishnowsky pinned the Steelers down at the 6. I loved what I saw from the kicker and the punter, but what'd you think of Kyle's game planning? Did you like the conservative nature there? It was basically they came out and they got a 2-yard run on 1st and 10 from the 50 with McCaffrey. This is on the 7th drive in the third quarter, and at this point, their Niners are up 27-7. So they're up 20 points. It's in the late third quarter, and he goes with a run of Elijah Mitchell between the tackles, and it gets stuffed for a 3-yard run, and they set up 3rd and 6, and then Watt sacked Purdy, and the Niners were forced to punt, and that's when Wishnowsky put them down at their own 4-yard line or whatever it was. So that was our 6-yard line. That was to me the Wishnowsky conservative. It was conservative, but Wishnowsky made it look good.
Yeah, I kind of felt like at that point they're just trying to, run the clock out as much as possible, take time off the clock, and then you have that pin them back and make Pittsburgh, eat up more time driving down the field. I was commenting in the game with Wishnowsky. Have you ever seen a punter be able to have his balls hit the ground and pop straight up instead of rolling into the end zone? His balls, I don't know how he does it, but his balls do not kick and go 20 yards with a bounce. He plops them, and I've never seen a kicker be able to do it that much. It happens, but
you're amazed by the way Wishnowsky plops his balls.
I was lost for that whole
Pause,
first.
pause.
Okay, all right.
Now, how the ball just doesn't, it
All
pops
right,
the
we
ball.
have to mute. All right, we muted Danny right there.
Where's
The first mute of the season.
I haven't gone to the mute very often, but when Danny goes there, he's got to get 60 seconds. Danny, go have a tall cold one, maybe a sarsaparilla, pet the dog, and then come on back, maybe some lumpia, and then get yourself back in here and let's get a reset. When we're talking about Wishnowski's balls, guys, what level of surprise do you take away from this outcome? I thought the 49ers would win. I said they would win big. But then as the game got closer, I thought, you know what? I could see more like 27-17, 24-17, just good enough to get it done. And I'll tell you this, I did not like the penalties at the end of the second quarter. I felt like the illegal contact against Demo Lenore, which set up 1st and goal from the 3, and their touchdown. I thought that was almost like a gift, and I didn't love some of the calls on that drive. But what do you think? How surprised are you that the Niners rolled into Heinz and smoked the Steelers?
There was some surprise.
And welcome back
me.
to the party, Danny. Good to see you. We'll now unmute Danny.
I need to capitulate because on my Monday show I do with my buddies, I picked the Steelers to win. I thought it was going to be kind of a low-scoring 23-20 game. Shame on me. So there was some level of surprise. The Steelers, Mike Tomlin, they got a reputation of being a hard-nosed physical team. No. The 49ers out-physicaled a physical football team. And like we've been saying all show, they dominated all facets of the game, offense, defense. So I'm happy the Niners proved me wrong.
Kev, what'd you think of the? Were you surprised it was such a blowout? And what part of today's win surprises you?
No, I was surprised. I thought the Niners were going to win. I thought they were going to cover, but even though all the metrics were saying the Steelers were, I just didn't think they were going to kill them by that much. I think what really surprised me was how bad the Steelers were on offense. Kenny Pickett wasn't just bad. I thought he wasn't just a good quarterback playing a good defense. He was a bad quarterback today. Like he made some bad throws when he needed to make good throws. So I just thought the offense just really struggled. And Najee Harris didn't do much. I mean, Deontay Johnson got hurt, and once he got hurt, it seemed like they had no big offensive plays left, and that they just pretty much just folded there.
I just thought Pickett was just a little bit behind his receivers, for a good portion of the day, and he made some ill-advised throws. I don't know. I mean, I think Pittsburgh's going to be a pretty good team, but Najee did go for over 5 yards a carry because he had the 24-yard run. But other than that, the rest of the carries, they bottled him up. He had 6 carries for 31 yards. So it looks like a decent number, but in reality, he didn't have an impact. Jaylen Warren did not get loose. They didn't hand the ball at all to McFarland, so they didn't use their speed. Allen Robinson caught a few balls. Deontay caught a few balls. Calvin Austin, Pickens, they all caught a few balls against the Niner defense, but nobody got in the end zone except for Freiermuth, and the Niners did a really good job against Freiermuth. By the way, Freiermuth is one of the NFL's kind of sleeper tight ends. I think he's going to have a good year. He had 1 catch for 3 yards. Now it was a touchdown, but other than that, they shut him out. That was great to see. If the Niners can do that good a job against a tight end this year, that's going to bode well for their chances.
Yeah, I really felt like the Niners would win this game. I had them winning by 1 to 2 scores, 7 to 10 points. I thought Pittsburgh would score a little bit more, but I did think the Niners would put up at least 30 today. But the one thing that they played flawlessly today, except the final minute and a half of the first half. I mean, that drive, letting Pittsburgh with no timeouts go 95 yards, I just thought, what are they doing? They're just letting them throw the ball to the sideline and pick up 15, 20 yards a pop going
And
down.
Demo Lenore had a couple kind of bad penalties on that. There was a lot of good today, but Demo Lenore on that drive, the late hit out of bounds, the holding call.
You know, it's interesting too. I'm on Twitter just taking a peek before, as you guys were talking, at some of the reaction to the win, and it's funny. Dave and Grant both have totally different thoughts on Purdy, and they both expressed these on Twitter. Lombardi goes with one of the wildest twists is that Brock Purdy is significantly faster scrambler than Trey Lance, who the 49ers drafted as a dual threat quarterback, which I do kind of agree with. Brock's got that ability to he's a very underrated scrambler. Let's just say that at this point. We'll see if he retains it for his whole career. But right now, he's a very the thing that surprises you about Purdy is how well he moves. Grant came back with Brock Purdy is playing quite well for a quarterback who has two fumbles and a dropped interception midway through the third quarter.
Come on.
He's trolling.
And then he said Brock Purdy just makes his teammates better. Credit him for that 65-yard touchdown run by Christian McCaffrey. Grant, and I think Grant had another one saying, where was it? It was pretty, it made me laugh. Yeah, let's see.
I can't get behind that thinking. I can't.
Yeah. His tweets are.
Here it is. Brock Purdy is playing so well. Brock Purdy is playing so well for a quarterback who has almost no zip on his throws. Impressive.
So I wanted to bring that. Yeah.
He doesn't have a great fastball, but guys, how many times do we got to see it before we realize this guy's money? He gets it done.
He's Greg Maddux.
This is a very good young quarterback.
Anybody
who sees anything else at this point, I got to question if you're really seeing it. I mean, it's one thing if it's one thing that you didn't see it when he was coming out of Iowa State. Heck, I didn't see it either. But it was another thing that after minicamp and training camp and preseason last year, if you still didn't see it, it's like you saw it. It was right there. You just chose to believe it was just like nothing. And then he did it again down the stretch. And still he goes into this offseason as tons of doubters, tons of people like Brock Purdy is not the guy. Brock Purdy is not the future. Lots of people really, really verbal about he's not going to play till week 6. He's not going to be healthy. He's not going to come back. And if he does come back, he's not going to be able to do this. And he'll be on a pitch count and this and that. And he won't be able to win games. And he can't stand too small and dink and dunk and all the different things people said about this guy this summer. Instead of just going, man, the Niners are freaking lucky. They got a 23-year-old guy they got in the 7th round who makes no money, who's got good enough arm, and he's deadly accurate. The ball comes out on time. He's a great competitor, and he's money on third downs. And yeah, he doesn't have a huge arm, but man, this is a good young quarterback, and you got him for nothing. What a steal! Instead of having that being the surrounding topic, it's just like he's not good enough topic. And I think today he was good enough. And I think I'm kind of wondering if you guys think, 19 of 26, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times. He had a quarterback rating of 111.3. He moved in the pocket. He ran when he needed to. He ran for a key third down in the fourth quarter, conversion to a first. I think it's safe to say that the Niners are not going to rue the day that they moved off of Trey Lance. At least as it pertains to Brock Purdy. This guy, as Shanahan said, he's the real deal. Now, it might make you sick. You may think it's premature. You might want to bring up Jimmy Garoppolo, and he started fast, and blah, 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 blah. But at this point, to call this guy anything other than an outstanding young quarterback prospect is not really seeing this for what it is. That's what he is. So you can label him, minimize him, diminish him, do whatever you want, but the guy wins games. And to me, watching him run in the fourth quarter and seeing him actually, start to, get fired up and celebrate there, it's like this guy shows up to beat you. Stats be damned. Is he a great fantasy quarterback? Probably not. He's not going to throw for 370, but he's going to come out, complete a high percentage, throw strikes, get him into up to the line of scrimmage, get plays called on time, operate this offense. He's got a good enough arm and takes enough shots downfield to keep him honest. They can win with this guy. There's no question in my mind. And I think if tomorrow will be an interesting day for all the people that have been incredibly, critical of this guy, if they will now come around to, hey, you know what? He's a pretty damn good little quarterback. And yeah, is he 6'5"? No. But 19 of 29 for 220, 2 touchdowns. The biggest number today is 0 picks. 0 picks. All right, let's read some supers and then let's throw it around a little bit. GTC Real says, Dan, nobody cares about your fantasy team. No, we do care about Dan's fantasy team.
Any trades yet, Dan?
Oh, so,
in fact,
lots of waiver pickups this week. Or not even waiver, just claiming guys.
Dan, it's not even week 1. You're making waiver pickups. I want a list.
My roster around.
I want a list of every waiver pick that you made this week, so we can evaluate that later in the show. I want to know who you dropped. I bet you there's somebody that you dropped that was going to come back to bite you in the ass.
I hope not.
That's just my guess. Gold Rushes, shame on you, Larry, for minimizing Brock Purdy today. Yes, I was not the believer. Gold Rush. Oh, there he is. Same guy. Hold on. We get that out of there. Thank you, the Gold Rush. Have a great day. Sal says, Dan, the show has not been the same without you, buddy. No offense, Larry. No offense. Danny's, only thing is I couldn't pay Danny's agent. I mean, they drove such a hard bargain. You think Bosa was been holding out? What do you think? Every day that goes by, I'm finding Dan thousands of dollars, and Kev's already opted to waive the fines. And so, this is $121
million guaranteed.
Yeah. Otherwise, Danny would owe us everything. More lumpia than he could ever come up with. 49ers. What did I tell you, Larry? It wasn't close. 69ers. 60. Very proud of that. Very proud of that moniker. You sound like a good time. G-Code Travels Vlog, POV. Drake, 3 sacks. Do we need Burns? Trade for a right tackle and defensive end depth. Niners do have $40 million in cap room. It's a Dan Coach Emilio dream situation here, Rye. I'm thinking Danny can cook up like a major addition, free agent signing, or monster trade.
By the way, Mike Trout is on the trade block. I just read today.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, the Angels said they would trade
before the show ends. I want you to give me a Mike Trout to the Giants trade possibility that we can throw out before you leave. All right, we got this one from Beats and Meats, which is a very nice name, I think. He says trade every 2024 pick for Tristan. Tristan Wirfs, I think he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think that's how you spell
it. Not every pick would be. I don't think that'd be a good move.
I don't think Wirfs is that crazy to spell, but.
Pretty easy, arguably.
For Beats and Meats, he could be very challenged at times. 69ers says, Grant said Brock has no zip. Your thoughts?
I just find
I've seen quarterbacks with more zip, but I would say this. As far as no zip, I would take out no and replace it with enough.
Yeah, moderate.
Brock, go tell Grant I said Brock has enough zip. Do you like that?
I just find it so incredibly
get all fiery and then just drop enough zip.
That's so hard to be critical of Brock.
I agree with you, Kev. I wanted to bring that up, Larry. You led into it, but if we just kind of step back now, and I understood like last year, I was trying to in my brain be like, well, okay, but what's the precedent for this? I need to find some precedent. And it just turns out there is no precedent. And we're living in a world where our quarterback is a Disney movie character and he's 9-0 in starts. And yeah, he wasn't like this unbelievable player in college, but it just is what it is. So if you're hating on him right now, nitpicking, I think you got to maybe seek some professional help.
Yeah. And it's like, we're like, good. CMC got so many touches today. Like, that's what we're going to complain about. And him dropping the ball when TJ Watt strip sacked him from behind. Like, what are we expecting? Like,
McKinnon's barely got a hand on Watt.
Not saying that Purdy's Brady, but at what point did Brady stop becoming a 6th-round draft pick in New England?
It was probably like 2 Super Bowls in. I mean, seriously, I'm not even joking, Danny. I mean, I remember talking to my nephew who lived out there, and he lives out there, and he was like, they still were questioning him after that first Super Bowl to some degree. So I think the second one kind of cemented, hey, wait a second, this guy's the guy. I mean, the thing about it is, it's all about getting to the line of scrimmage, processing what you see, knowing what, having field awareness, knowing when the ball's got to come out. And it's not like he's perfect. He didn't sense a rusher to his not to his backside, to his front side. He didn't notice a front side rusher who sacked him, and got a pretty good lick on him. I would like to see the guy kind of take care of himself a little bit more than he does. Like, to me, if you say, what's the Brock Purdy weakness? People talk about this and that. His arm's not strong enough. His arm's fine. His arm's plenty strong enough. The issue is that he's such a courageous football player in a violent game that he should prioritize getting the ball out more consistently, even if there's more incompletions, than to stand in there and take 2 or 3 of those hits that he took today. He didn't need to take all those hits, but he's kind of a tough guy. You know what I mean? We're finding out more about this guy as he goes, and he's kind of a little bit of a swashbuckling tough guy. He's 6'1" and change and not 6'5", but it's his huddle, it's his feel. I'll tell you what is the part that is the most encouraging to me watching this game today. You get the one thing you do get on TV games that you do not get on all 22, and you don't get at camp, and oftentimes you don't get in the preseason, is you don't get those great cameras that do the real close-ups on the quarterback's face, and you can see his look in his eye when he's going through progressions at the line of scrimmage or walking up to the line of scrimmage. They all have a look on their face. I mean, the look on his face is just, he's just very confident, very sure of himself, very calm. He doesn't seem razzled or frazzled or, sometimes guys are, a little helter-skelter. He doesn't. He seems very, very calm. So is he a perfect quarterback? No. My biggest question about him would be durability. If you said, give me your number one issue with him, I kind of question the durability long-term, because how many games can you have like he had today where, you're getting pulled and hit, and I mean, one of those is going to hit you in the wrong spot and cause you to miss time. So I'd like to see him take care of himself a little bit better and throw it away and get it out a little sooner. Flav said through 2 drives, Jimmy G 7 of 8 for 1 touchdown, 10 points. Purdy 6 of 7, 1 touchdown, 10 points to start the game. Do you guys think Trey starts off hot tonight too? Look at Flav. Flav wouldn't be Flav. Flav Rye, Danny, has been heavily in the anti-Trey camp. So there you go. He's dancing on the Cowboys' 3rd-string quarterback. All right, here we go. Clarence Beek says, member for 16 months. Clarence in the house. He said, typing this with one hand. That, my friend, is creepy. But you know what? We love the donation. Anthony says, Brock Purdy is now 8-0 as a San Francisco starter. Not counting that NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy is playing incredible football. Ty Budd says, McKivitz, question mark, TJ or not a huge concern, led for feet. I mean,
you think TJ or not huge concern? You think it's a huge concern?
I don't think it's a huge concern. You just got to remember this. There's not a lot of experience there. I think he had like 29 career snaps at right tackle. So, we're not talking about a lot of snaps, and he's going to be a little bit of a learn on the job. He's not perfect, but I thought he was fine today. I mean, to me, he was acceptable today. I don't think I would, get on the plane going, oh my God, we got to start looking around for right tackles. It wasn't that kind of a day. I mean, they still ran effectively in this game. Titus Moeller says, enjoying our vindication for believing in 13, Larry. Yeah, well, there you go, Titus. Anybody who believed in Purdy today, you're feeling pretty good. And if you're one of those guys that was walking around for a good portion of the offseason, or if your over-under on critical Brock Purdy tweets is greater than like 5.5 this offseason, you're probably, you probably need to go take in a Brock Purdy anonymous meeting and, cleanse yourself, right? The seven steps of I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, it'd be a bad feeling to like be really dug in right now. Cause like,
Right.
What are you going to do?
He's awful, and he's going to be awful, and he's a flash in the pan Krueg, and he's small, and he's weak, and they're going to catch up to him. I mean, all that guy, where's that guy right now? Where's that guy?
I would respect anyone
He's in
that
Oracle Park cheering on Farhan.
Yeah. I would respect anyone that came out that's like been hating this whole offseason, hating last year, and just came out and just said, look, I can't say anything anymore. He's the guy. Like if you just came out and said that, like no one will because it seems too scary. And it's when
will people say this guy's the guy? That might be the question of the day.
It might take a Super Bowl win, Larry.
Really? A Super Bowl win?
That's wild.
It might take a Super Bowl win for the. And I'm
Josh Allen doesn't have a Super Bowl win. Herbert's freaking 500. People are throwing rose petals at his feet. He's 500
on 49ers Twitter. I mean, you have
yeah.
Anyway. I don't understand how you could be critical of Brock Purdy after this game. It was throw after throw on
dimes,
the money, in stride, the anticipation. Some of these throws to Brandon Ayuk, he's not even out of his route.
Ayuk on the corner.
That touchdown was amazing.
Amazing throw. Put it
the
only where Ayuk could get it.
Was exceptional. The kid is a playmaker. He's making DBs miss behind the line, escaping out the back door, hitting Debo on the run. Like Brock Purdy made a lot of special plays. The thing that you know what it is, fellas? Brock Purdy makes it look easy. He makes it look easy, and people since it looks so easy, they're not impressed by it. But it's the fact Brock is playing so freaking well, and yeah, he makes it look easy because he's a good player. That's why.
Facts. That's like
he might be better than a good player. He might, when do we say that this guy's better than a good player?
I mean, you could say it right now if you believe it. You could say it right now.
Well, I mean, I think the guy's got several of the traits of the great ones. I really do believe that. He's super competitive. He's got major competitive fire. He shows up to win the game. It's not about a stat line. He's a humble, superstar potential because he does nothing but win games. He makes good decisions with the football. I mean, if you can surround him, if you can block for him and just keep him somewhat upright, he's going to have a great chance to win a lot of games. I mean, look at the receivers he has. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings. He's got backs he didn't even need today. He's got a defense that's, Bosa and Hargrave up front. Now you got Drake, Greenlaw and Warner on the second level. Is there a better duo? Then you got Hufanga, Ballhawk, Gibson in the middle, and all kinds of corner depth, and a number one guy in Mooney, and Lenore's coming on, Womack's coming on. Rookie kicker with a monster leg. Today, a punter that was damn good. Ray returning kicks. I mean, they got a pretty good team, man. That's a pretty good team.
And don't forget, Debo was not much of a factor today. And you get Ayuk going, teams are going to start keying on Ayuk, and now you got another major weapon in Debo. Yeah. How do you stop this team if they stay healthy?
I mean, the Eagles, I think that the big takeaway, because I'm a little worried about this just from like a media perspective, because I ingest so much, because they just whooped the Steelers' ass in week one. People already overreact to week one, but because it was the Steelers and it was on the road in Hines, all the East Coast people kind of watching it, they're going to get that like crazy hype from the beginning of the season. Now the Eagles are taking it to the Patriots right now. I think the narrative all year is going to be like, we're destined for a rematch of the NFC Championship. It's already set. It's Niners, Eagles. I just hope that doesn't get into the guys' heads.
Well, I mean, it's to me, it's as clear as day. Now, if there's a third team, maybe it's Detroit, right? You know, Detroit could be ahead of schedule. You know, you never know. But it's 16. I'm looking at, is it 16-7 Eagles right now?
Yeah,
Yes.
Patriots just scored on him.
Hunter Henry just scored.
Yeah.
I mean, some people think it could be Dallas. I'll tell you one thing to look for is the trade deadline. Who gets Jonathan Taylor? You know, that could make a big impact. Are the Eagles going to get Jonathan Taylor? You know, I don't know. Do you guys see the Vikings lost to the Buccaneers at home today?
Yeah,
Cousins looked horrible.
Yeah. And the Bengals got crushed by the Browns.
Bengals were terrible today.
Yeah, Bengals 24-3.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you like to be Joe Burrow this week? You just got the fattest freaking contract. You just got broken off, and you throw for 82 yards.
Yeah.
82 yards.
Man.
Jesus.
Hey, that 40 mil, I could tell you where a chunk of that 40 mil cap space is going, fellas.
Yeah, where do you guys think? What do you think, Baller?
It's going to Brandon Ayuk. He was the best player on the field today. You can't let this guy get away. I think they're clear.
Well, he's their number one receiver.
To make sure you re-sign BA, and then the leftovers. I think they're making a mid-season move, right? We've seen this team in the past. They've made a lot of these mid-season trade acquisitions, whether it's, you know, Emmanuel Sanders, Christian McCaffrey, Charles Omenihu, Jordan Willis. Like they've
got a good record of getting good talent out of it. Think about it. All those moves have been major wins for the Niners. Omenihu,
wait and see what's
Jordan
the
Willis.
biggest need around the deadline. You know, is it a right tackle? Do you need another edge? Because injuries are going to crop up, right? Like we know somebody's going to get dinged, and I think that's where mostly the cap space is going to BA. You better save that because the kid is unguardable. And then I like a mid-season move just to bolster.
Yeah. Not only that, Baller,
Super Bowl push.
But BA, Purdy and BA have a connection going. And I was watching Ayuk wherever he lined up today, and almost every time he dropped back, Ayuk was. Purdy read. He was looking for Ayuk. I think he's his go-to target now, and. If you got that connection going, you got to re-sign him.
Oh, I mean, there's no question. I mean, Ayuk is going to be and it's funny too. It's like he's very humble, hardworking, but I mean the timing that he has right now and the massive radius. I mean, you could throw it 10 feet in the air, he goes after it. You could throw it. You saw him a couple design throws where it was clear that it was designed to go low. And he went down into the ground and made catches. So he's got a monster catch radius. He's super strong. He's really difficult to kind of corral after the catch. He doesn't have any fear at all running across the middle of the field. So whether it be a shallow cross, a middle cross, a deep cross, and I asked him about it earlier this summer. I'm like, man, you guys like run that with a lot of confidence. And he's like, yeah, like he said something like that. Those are the easy ones, or those are the gimmies, or it's like, yeah, we can have that whenever we want, that kind of a thing. And it looks like it, I mean, Ayuk, it looks like Purdy can find Ayuk on a intermediate cross and just kind of find where the windows are and lead them right to an open window. I'll tell you the other thing that I think the receivers have got to love about Brock Purdy, and I've never really asked him this because you don't want to get divisive in any way and start comparing guys, and guys don't like to bury guys. But look at the differences in the lack of hits that Ayuk and Debo and Jennings and the Niner receivers take with Purdy compared to Garoppolo. Man, Garoppolo would complete some passes and guys would get destroyed.
Yeah.
It doesn't – it's like Purdy has a way of leading these guys out of harm's way, and I think for that reason there's a trust. Only Kittle today turned down an inside route. Did you guys see that one where he kind of peaked a little bit and it went incomplete? The rest of the inside routes, man, the Niner receivers ran those things with confidence, and Purdy's going to stick it right in there. and he's got confidence you're going to go for it. It's hard to stop. It's really hard to stop.
Yeah. And I said, read something the other day about Ayuk where he said he's no longer thinking out there. He's just playing the mental part of the game. He has got down. He was really in Kyle's doghouse the beginning. Was it last year, the beginning of last year? Or
Yeah, what was
the
that
year
to be?
before? Or there's it 2 years
Think
ago,
so.
whatever it was.
Last year.
He was letting that affect him. And now he says that the mental aspect of the game is caught up to the physical. So he's just no longer out there mentally trying to think what to do. He's just playing on pure, his instinct and athleticism, which is off the charts.
And my favorite thing about BA, he runs the best in-breaking routes in the league. When I'm talking slant, post, glance route, whatever you want to call it, a route where you got to stick your foot in the ground, one cut and you're breaking inside. Ayuk runs it as good as any receiver. I'll put it up there, with Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. These in-breaking routes, he's just so sudden. He has so much explosion coming out of his break. That's one of my favorite things about Ayuk.
I want to see your breakdown, Baller, if you can get the video, because the first TD, I was watching Ayuk the whole way, and the camera didn't show it, but I thought he was going to the flag, to the corner, and he ended up going over the middle of the end zone. He must have the guy, you didn't even see the DB hardly in the picture.
The corner
He fell down.
He broke the corner's ankles. Usually
that was Peterson.
Patrick Peterson.
Defender, and the defender crumbles to the ground. Ayuk did that to the corner.
Yeah.
The corner thought he was going outside, but no, he broke inside. The defender crumbled. He's white. No one's around him for 5 feet catching that touchdown.
Yeah.
Pass.
Wow.
How about Pat Pete, by the way?
He got
Pat Pete guaranteed the pick.
He didn't get it.
Shut up, Pat.
So much for the tell. Though Pat Pete almost got a pick. It was in the second quarter, and he tried to jump a route in the middle of the field, and he almost got one.
I think he had two PBUs. I think he might have had two PBUs.
Yeah, but he also gave up. Purdy went right at him for a touchdown too.
Twice.
Yeah. So Pat Pete, who got the last laugh. Even if you feel like you have a tell, rule of mouth is never say it. Never say it. If you want to say it afterwards, even then it's probably ill-advised. But if definitely don't say it beforehand. G2 the universe says, great call, Larry. I heard my breath. I held my breath like a deep diver on that fumble. Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy somehow kept the fumble away from J.J. Watt. An unbelievable deal. Green Glass Full says, Grant's takes on Purdy suck as much as his haircut. Come on. Let's give Grant.
Jeez.
Not the haircut.
I like his haircut.
See what happens when you got 66,000 subs? Somebody doesn't like your haircut. Gregorius Greg, I was a Trey guy, but Purdy is the real deal. I'm happy I was wrong. Go Niners. Look at that. Look at that. Gregorius Greg has come full circle and deserves some applause. He was a Trey guy, but now he's admitting on the 10th of September that Purdy is the real deal, a la Shanahan, as what Shanahan said, and he's happy that he was wrong. Go Niners.
He's the one ring to rule them all. He's the one to unite the Niner fan base.
Just come on over. You know what? I don't care where you've been. I don't care what you said. Ted Talks Ball, come on down. You know what? All you guys, today's your day. You know what? A big catharsis. Just, come on down. I was wrong. I thought I knew ball, but I don't know ball. I'm Ted Talks Ball, but I don't talk enough ball because I was wrong. A good I was wrong today would be great, and then we'll just move on from it. Everybody will be cleansed. We'll welcome you back into the circle. Everybody can say, you know what? You win some, you lose some, and we all move on. Come on down.
Well
if
said.
you doubted Purdy, if you ripped him, if you criticized him, if you said he wasn't good enough, come on down. Today's your day to say, you know what? I just, I got it wrong.
I call that a capitulation ceremony.
Exactly. We'll welcome you back to the circle. We'll say, hey, guess what? I thought Carlos Hyde was going to be a Pro Bowler. I'm Larry Krueger. I thought Carlos Hyde was going to be a Pro Bowler. My name's Larry Krueger, and I'm glad to be here today. And then we'll go around the room and, hey, I also thought that J.J. Stokes was the next Jerry Rice. I'm Larry Krueger. And then we'll go around the room. You know what I'm saying? We can all have a little catharsis.
I thought
Zach
Ronaldo
Wilson
Nehemiah
was going to be a big-time player at the NFL level.
Who's that? Zach Wilson, the safety?
Zach Wilson.
Oh, Zach Wilson, the quarterback.
My quarterback for the Jets. I thought he was going to be big time.
I still think he's going to be a good player. I'm Larry Krueger.
I thought Bill Walsh had the steal of NFL when he signed Ronaldo Nehemiah, and that Nehemiah was going to be the next Cliff Branch.
Oh, I thought Jared Hayne was going to revolutionize the game.
Jared Hayne.
I remember Bruce Ellington. I liked Bruce Ellington in the fourth.
Nothing beats Kevin Lynch of the Chronicle, who told me that Jared Hayne was the greatest return guy in the history of the NFL. I'm like, what about Devin Hester? What about Deion Sanders? No, Jared Hayne takes your breath away.
That was an interesting time.
I did so many interviews. People would call everything. Where was he from?
Australia.
I did Australian media, and people, Larry, you're brilliant. Thank you for joining us. What does all the people in the Bay Area say about Jared? I'm like, they really don't notice him, to be honest. I think he was at the Stonestown Galleria the other day. He went unnoticed. Jared is brilliant.
Look at LAL's comments. I thought David Koresh was Jesus.
Good one. Digital Drew, member for 7 months. He says, Purdy criticism after today is nonsense, peddled by outrage merchants trolling for clicks. It's not a real football conversation. Move on already. LOL. The LOL softens it. It really does. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes I'll say terrible things to Kev, and then I'll say LOL.
But not out loud. That's weird.
NFL equals Niners for life. Thoughts on Wilkes not blitzing much? I'm cool with it. When you got a front four like that, and you don't want to give a young quarterback defined reads, you know, he's in his second year now. He's probably worked on blitz packages. Why give him defined reads? If you feel like a quarterback's not seeing it clearly or is taking a little bit longer to process, defensive coordinators are oftentimes hesitant to send 5- and 6-man blitzes because it takes the thinking out of it, and then they start just reacting and playing faster. So when you have a quarterback that you feel like doesn't quite see it or his timing's a little bit off or whatever, you just stay with your 4 and drop your 7 and win in coverage until you feel like he's in a rhythm. Don't get him into a rhythm by giving him defined quick reads, because really what he needs is to be quicker with the ball, and blitzing him kind of forces him to be quicker with the ball. I think that's what happened today. I think if they had had more success, it was in the package to confuse him and blitz him, but I think they took the right approach.
And plus, when you're got
long fields, make him move the ball up and down the field.
That's why you want to have big leads and stuff. So one, you can rest some of your key guys, but also you don't have to put a lot of things on film for future games. I mean, if you don't have to show those blitz packages, maybe you save them up for Stafford. Maybe you don't need them for Stafford, but you're going to need them for Dak Prescott in week 5, you know?
And every time you blitz, you take a risk in coverage, and they were playing with the lead. Why would you take a risk in coverage when you know they're trying to pass the ball? So I think they did some of those one like off the edge huff, but you know, no reason to go all out blitz.
This team is like pretty much unstoppable if they can get out to like a 10-point lead. It's pretty much over. Just the dogs can eat, the edges can eat. Just keep running the ball. You can't really do anything.
What do you guys think of the commentators? Joe Davis and Moose were talking about that Kyle has never really tried to have the greatest offense. He always wanted to build his team around the defense. What do you think of that? Because I think it's time to really push the envelope on the offense because it just helps the defense even more.
Well, I would say, where the hell have those guys been? This offense under Brock Purdy averaged 33 points a game and 4 points more than the Chiefs, who led the league in scoring at 29 points a game. And then they just, this offense, that, he describes as so limited, just rolled into Pittsburgh against a defense that I guarantee you is going to stymie a lot of offenses this year, and they just put up 30. And Brock completed a good percentage, didn't turn it over. The Niners ran it for almost 6 yards a carry. Ayuk went off. The Niners were the better team in all three phases of the game. So I would say that, what you're seeing is going to be, if the 49ers are going to win, it's going to be complimentary football. If you ask why Shanahan has better defenses than offense, I think that, in Atlanta, his offense averaged 8 yards per play and was the best first down offense in the history of the NFL. And as I said, they had a good offense last year with the Niners. But I think he's believed that he can scheme offense and that you need true athletes to get it done on defense. And so that's where they've invested their draft capital for the most part in the defensive side of the ball. So there you go.
Yeah, this is the third defensive coordinator too. Shanahan does deserve some credit for the defense. And as much as he is the offensive guy, his offense sets it up so that the defense can just, let it fly.
Wouldn't you want to be a defensive coordinator under him too, Rye? Because
yeah.
And the players know it. You can play aggressive, fast, physical, and free when Brock Purdy and the offense are going to put up 4 touchdowns. When you feel our side's going to put up 4 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, man. I'm going to play aggressive. I'm going to play fast and physical. If you feel like you got an offense that's going to produce 17, it's you're tight. You're oh, man, bend but don't break. Don't let them get behind you. And, I thought they were a little conservative at times in this game, but in the second half. But overall, you look around and you go, CMC looks like he's primed for a career year. Debo the same. And Ayuk is just maybe going to be one of the most improved players in all of football. So it's going to be hard for the 49ers to not be good offensively because they've got 3 guys there that are all super dynamic.
Think about this. They played the 49ers defense played a full 15 minutes. That's basically a quarter less defense than the Steelers defense played today.
Wow. Time of possession domination. 34 runs, 29 passes. That's a lot of balance, though, for the most part. Steelers had 40 runs, 46 passes. No, Steelers, what am I saying? Steelers had 10 runs, 46 passes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The 49ers dominated the time of possession. That, if you look at the stats, the one that's probably the most dominant is 37-23 for the Niners, 22-37 for the Steelers. And if you watch the game, you know that the Niners in the last couple of drives played a very soft, vanilla, you can complete passes underneath. So that time of possession doesn't even really tell the full story. It really doesn't, because the Steelers were allowed to possess the ball in the last couple of drives. And before that, it was, the Niners possessed the ball almost the whole game. Huge difference. We got this one from the what does he say? The Canthal kid. He says, love the content, boys. Purdy's legit, and he will lose some games like all quarterbacks. Let's just stay objective. I have no doubt he can get us a ring. What do you guys think? That's a big question right there. Shanahan called him the real deal. People lost their mind. Do you guys believe, yes or no, here on the 10th of September, it's week 1, can the 49ers win the Super Bowl this year with Brock Purdy, based on what you saw today?
Yes, and Canthal Kid is off his rocker. Purdy will never lose a game in the NFL. Never.
He's going to go undefeated, Danny? Forever?
Undefeated. Yeah, I'm all the way.
That would be, if you want to separate yourself from all other quarterbacks,
just don't lose.
If you could somehow go your entire career and just run the table, I think you might get a few dollars in free agency. This guy has never lost. He's like a
MMA
Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson in the '80s before Buster Douglas or something. I'm just nobody can beat this guy. Johnny Tolbert says, "Don't forget Reggie McGrew." That's right. We were convinced that Reggie McGrew was something. It's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of people. I just think that, you know what it is? we tell ourselves this all the time in life, and what happens is people don't judge the book by the cover. The modern day don't judge the book by the cover is Twitter, right? You hear two people's comments about something, and suddenly you know the whole story, and you're ready to comment. You know what I mean? Or you see some highlight or some low light or some video, and you're like, immediately it draws your attention in, and you click on it, and you leave a comment. You don't know the whole story. You don't even know half the story. It's that same kind of thing. I just think there's a lot of people that look at Brock Purdy, see kind of a smallish guy, and think, you know what? He doesn't look like Mahomes. He doesn't look like, a superstar quarterback. He can't get it done. But then you look closer and you're like, well, wait a second. It's just uncanny how this guy just keeps completing passes on third downs and making big play after big play. A couple more supers here. Ty Budd says, Larry with the 33 points again. 33 points. That's what the Niners averaged last year under Purdy, and they went for 30 today. Call it whatever you want. A miracle, lucky, whatever. They seem to score 30 with Purdy. And if you said, what do they really need offensively to win a championship with the defense they have? They need an offense that can score 30. Why? Because the Chiefs have an offense that can score 30, and the best offenses in football will be hovering right around 30. So if you want to win the Super Bowl and you got a really good defense, score 30 points a game. Under Purdy, thus far, the Niners have, and that's why they're winning all these games. G2 the Universe, I think a Trey Lance jersey trade-in event would soothe the pain for Trey Lance fans and make them quickly transition on into the 2023 season. Look at that, G2 Universe.
They should do like a Trey Lance jersey trade-in, and then also have like a really nice like motherly grandma there that just gives you a big hug after you trade it in. It's all right. It's okay.
But you know what? The NFL's catching on to that because last time I bought a jersey, they notify you of something. It's like jersey insurance, where if your player does change teams, like within the year of purchase, they will give you some kind of credit. So you might want to look into it. It's something that's coming on, to the jersey
within the
community.
year of purchase. If you're going for like a rookie,
the Oakland A's
not
financially handle that.
What's that?
The Oakland A's couldn't financially handle that, I don't think.
No.
There's a lot of. We just went to an A's game the other night. There's a lot of outdated jerseys in that place. I saw a Bobby Crosby. I think I might have seen a Piazza. There was a Karros walking around. A lot of outdated jerseys at the Coliseum these days, and plenty of good seats.
Giants don't need.
We
to
welcome
worry
in
about
John
New
Dickinson,
either.
who just finished to the. What the Giants? What's this Giants?
They don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about jersey insurance. They're not on the team long enough to get one.
No. Yeah. Exactly. JD, what's going on, man? What'd you think of the win?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Yeah, impressive. I mean, impressive win for the 49ers to go in and just dominate really from the jump and dominate a team that's known for being extremely physical, and they just hammered them. I mean, Eric Armstead, I thought, just put an imprint on the game immediately in the opening series, just getting penetration and owning his matchup and just making Pickett, feel a little bit of heat early, to where I thought later on in the game he was missing some open throws because he was used to there being heat on him. Sometimes it's the heat you're getting, and sometimes you make a guy a little skittish. And it was really, Kyle Shanahan said it in his post-game press conference. It was 28 minutes of really good football to take that 20-0 lead. A couple of minutes at the end of the half that opened the door for Pittsburgh to maybe have an opportunity to really get back in the game. But then the Christian McCaffrey run with the spin move and the exceptional downfield blocking from Brandon Ayuk and Ray McLeod, that really put an end to it. I thought it was pretty much a wrap at that point. And I mean, you just kind of go around the horn. Christian McCaffrey, absolute stud. Brandon Ayuk, stud. Brock Purdy, his steady, evasive when he needed to be on a couple of critical third downs to convert. Performance. I already mentioned Armstead. Drake Jackson picking up 3 sacks. fantastic. And I even thought the special teams was good today. Moody made all of his kicks. Wisnowski, it was almost everything that anybody could have been concerned about in the preseason. The Niners checked every one of these boxes essentially today, except maybe needing to pull Ambry Thomas and, move some things around as far as the secondary goes. But just a great win. And I'll tell you that, the people in Pittsburgh were thinking, hey, this is going to be an even game. This is too good to. I mean, they were stunned at the level that the 49ers were able to beat the Steelers, because I think they thought this was going to at least be a game that went down to the wire with both teams trading punches.
So funny, because my youngest son walked into the room. He's like, Dad, some guy on one of these chat rooms says Steelers 48-3. I'm like, 48-3? Really? Come on. This is like right before the game. I'm like, 48-3. I mean, I think this game's going to be a hard-fought game. I think it'll be pretty close, but 48-3, Steelers, no way. Patrick says lots of room on the Pickett is better than Brock bandwagon. There were a lot of people. You thought Pickett was better than Brock?
Who? Oh, no. No, I'm just saying I was on the – no, I did not think Pickett was better than Brock coming in.
You thought the Steelers were going to win the game. You thought the Steelers were going to win.
I thought the Steelers were – I picked the Steelers to win today, and I thought, whether it was the slow starts, the matching, the physicality. I mean, the Niners just did everything that I was concerned about them possibly, not having in the bag today. And it was a dud from the Steelers, but I'm not necessarily ready to write off the Steelers. I think we do that a lot sometimes, right? It's like you think a team might be good, and then your team dominates them, and then you're like, well, that team's trash. Well, actually, your team might be pretty good. And I kind of feel like that might be the case. I'd be a little worried about Pickett if I'm the Steelers, and they obviously had some injuries today as well, but it shows you week one, man. The Niners put an emphasis on not getting off to a crappy start, and that really rung true today.
Hey, JD, I know you had boots on the ground there, so we'll ask you a couple questions and then let you get on with your day. But what was the mood in the locker room? Any word? Danny brought up earlier Trent Williams, and we saw him go out. Were there any injuries of significance? What was the talk in the locker room? Any concerns coming out of this game that maybe we may have missed?
No, went out, came back in as far as Trent Williams goes. And I think the tone was, hey, workmanlike performance, did everything, that was practiced. That it was great to have Nick Bosa back in the fold. That, like, even the Nick Bosa plan went exactly to plan and he didn't really have to sub out a lot or as much as they thought maybe he would, because they kept getting 3 and outs. 3 and out with 4 punts and an interception in the first 5 Steelers possessions, and they could kind of keep everything on schedule. Bosa said he came out of the game feeling really good about things. I mean, Brock Purdy and Brandon Ayuk got the last laugh on Patrick Peterson. That was a big topic of conversation in the post-game press conferences and in the locker room. I mean, even Jake Moody said, hey, he wasn't feeling any pressure. Talked to him for a little bit and just kind of was going through his routine, feels healthy. And, it was good to see some kicks go through, but he just noted that he can't really be worried about any of the other stuff or misses or injuries or anything. It's like, this felt like a real game, and the bright lights were on, and he was good. And just the defensive line play as well. I mean, we saw this in 2019 when the Niners did get off to the good start. The one year they went to the Super Bowl, they were 8-0. And maybe some similarities between this game today and the defensive line, because you remember that defensive line was so dominant the first handful of games in that season. And it really started with that game in Tampa. It led to a couple interceptions. They had a couple of pick sixes, or at least one pick six in that game. And it led to mistakes and just, I think, setting the tone for what this team is going to be. They stopped the run. I mean, there was no, other than the big one late in the half there, they stopped the run, which is something that Kyle Shanahan noted even in the preseason, even with some backups playing, was a little concerning. But nothing today. So this was just kind of a ho hum, get a big win against a good opponent in a tough environment when the expectations are high, and now you got a divisional game against the Rams coming up, and a real opportunity for the Niners to get off now to a real good start. You look at Arizona, and Arizona's coming in week 4. The Giants are the home opener. I mean, now you can start thinking about maybe being 4-0 with that Dallas game. Giants are no slouch, and obviously the league is weird, especially early in the season. But Arizona and the Rams should be 2 wins. I mean, I'll just say that.
It's interesting. It's like it's a week-to-week league. You're totally right, and it does. After a game like this, you look at that schedule and you say, Rams no Cooper Kupp. You got the Giants in the home opener, Cardinals no Kyler, then Cowboys at home, Browns, Vikings, Bengals. I guess Browns won today, but those teams don't look great. Jaguars, Buccaneers, Seahawks. I mean, we'll see. They could have a very good looking record going into the December game with the Eagles if things break right. I'll say this: the schedule doesn't look quite as daunting this afternoon as it looked maybe 3-4 weeks ago, based on what we've seen here in Week 1. Biggest surprise of Week 1 for you guys? We'll go around the room here. Rye, we haven't talked to you in a while. What's the biggest surprise to you of Week 1?
Well, I'm starting with a sub surprise, like a small little asterisk. So because we're playing the Rams next week, has anybody even heard of this Puka Nacua guy? Because he
played for BYU.
He's getting Cooper Kupp's target share. He has 11 targets. Yeah. It's the very beginning of the third quarter.
He's a fantasy find, is what you're saying?
He's absolutely a fantasy find. He's got 7 receptions, 90 yards.
If you see Danny's hands go beneath the screen, that means Danny will be making a transaction.
I should have picked him up. I picked Jaden Reed up instead, as we speak. Though. I picked Jaden Reed.
All right, so I'd say biggest.
You did pick up Jaden Reed. Look at you. You're a great fantasy owner, Danny.
I mean, big surprise has to be. It's kind of too easy, but I mean, it has to be the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow rolling in there with all the money. But
is it though? Because they always lose there, Ryan. Isn't he 0-4 there now in his career? I think Cincinnati's 0-4 at Cleveland in his career. So it's a surprise.
It is one of those.
It's a surprise every year.
It is one of those weird ones. Yeah. That's more. It's more just how sad it was. But I agree. There is those weird things where it's like, I don't know, the Niners beat the Rams every time. That sort of thing.
You know what's kind of interesting, guys. Just as looking at some of the matchups, as Rye was saying, what's his big surprise this week? I mean, look how many games are really tight. Rams, Seahawks, 14-13 right now. Dolphins, Chargers in L.A. at SoFi. It's 20-17 Dolphins at halftime. Eagles, Patriots. Somebody was saying Eagles looked really good early. It's 16-14 Eagles. Raiders, Broncos in Denver. It's 13-10 Broncos. Packers, Bears. Packers with Jordan Love actually playing well. They're up 17-6. I think the Packers guys might be a surprise team to watch for, because I think a lot of people think with no Aaron Rodgers they're going to backslide. But it's such a good organization, and they've had good drafts. And I just think there's the cupboard's not bare there for Jordan Love. It's the Bears, but I mean there aren't really too many. There haven't been too many big spreads, big differences in games. I mean, Browns won by 21.
The Ravens.
Falcons won by 14. Jags won by 10. But Bucks Vikings was a 3-point game. Saints Titans was a 1-point game. Commanders beat the Cardinals by 4. I guess Ravens were a big favorite, and they did cover 25-9 over the Texans. But a lot of close games. To me, if there was one thing that stood out, is that, man, every game in the NFL for the most part is close. Lions Chiefs, 1-point game.
And that's where I'm going with my biggest surprise. I'm taking it back to Thursday. The Lions beating the Chiefs. I know Travis Kelce's out, but man, those weapons for the Chiefs looked really pedestrian. Kadarius Toney looked
a lot
awful.
Of drops. A lot of drops.
Sky Moore, I thought was going to be, have a good season this year, kind of emerge as this rising player. No, Sky Moore didn't do diddly squat. So I'm looking at that Thursday night game. Lions beating the Chiefs is my biggest surprise so far in week 1.
Kev, what do you think? What surprises you this week?
I would probably go with the Cardinals covering against the Commanders. Joshua Dobbs was the starter there, And I put money on the Commanders to cover that game. People were telling me all offseason that Sam Howell was the guy, and he played decent, I think. I know he got injured and then came back, and I like Dotson.
He had one pick, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
Yeah, I said in a tweet once that I thought he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, and people were like going crazy on me, like, you don't know shit about Sam Howell. He's great. He may be pretty good. I have Dotson. I hope he does play well, but yeah, I was surprised that the Cardinals played well and didn't win, but covered.
I'll go.
JD, what was surprising to you this week? I know you're there in Pittsburgh, so you're probably immersed in Niners.
Yeah, looking at some of the scores, I wasn't surprised at the Lions after Kelsey was going to be out. I just had kind of a weird feeling about that one, but still, it's the Lions, so I'm kind of with you on that one. But Tampa, to me, winning at Minnesota. Yeah. I mean, Minnesota, I think everybody would agree they overachieved and or were a little bit of a fluke last year with as many games as they won and as many close games as they won. And they won every home game, I think, last year, every home game except for one. I think they were 8-1 until they got beat in the playoffs. And for them to lose to Tampa it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been on the road. But for them to lose to Tampa at home, with Tampa expected to maybe be one of the worst teams in the NFL, and the Vikings usually, even if they're going to be disappointing, they're usually a 6-2, 6-3, 7-2, 8-1 kind of team at home. And so that one leads me to think that maybe the Vikings could be in a little bit of trouble quick, as far as just kind of looking around the NFC. And Larry, I like what you said about Green Bay, and obviously that game's not over yet, but I kind of think Green Bay could be sneaky, not as bad as people think, in the NFC North. Now with everybody seemingly on the Lions, given the fact that there was a lot of hype surrounding them and they went and got a big win. So I'll go Tampa as far as that among the games that I saw and kind of semi-followed, even though I was locked in on the Niner game.
Green Bay if you look at their personnel, you forget they've got a lot of good players.
They do.
On their defensive front, they've got Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt, who's the number 1 pick out of Georgia. Preston Smith, damn good player. Their linebacking core. They got Rashawn Gary and Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell. On the back end, Jair Alexander's as good a corner as there is. Darnell Savage at free safety. They got guys. It's not like the cupboard's bare. And offensively, I like their young receivers. Aaron Jones can catch the ball in the backfield, but I love these tight ends. They got Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave. I think are really solid. They've always had a pretty solid line. There's talk that they may want to go for Jonathan Taylor, but they didn't want to trade Christian Watson. But you got Romeo Doubs, you got Christian Watson, they got this kid Jaden Reed. They've got some weapons there. Go ahead, JD. What were you going to say?
Just real quick on I think Aaron Rodgers may have been a little bit more the problem there than people think. Like, that's just kind of my lasting, and not that he's not that take. Not that he's still not a good player. But I think at times, every time the Packers would ever lose, and this goes back really since they won their Super Bowl in 2010, it was never Aaron Rodgers' fault. It was never Aaron Rodgers' fault. And then they'd have a lot of good teams actually in between those years. They had some duds, but they had a lot of really good teams. And I found myself constantly watching them and thinking exactly what you just laid out, Larry, which is they got a lot of talent. This is Devontae Adams guy's really good. Like, they always run the ball, and they seem to be a pretty well coached team with LaFleur, and McCarthy always got a bad rap, and some of it was warranted, some of it I'm not sure was, because his teams were, I think, a little more prepared than always looking for a balanced attack. So I felt like Rodgers, because he got that early Super Bowl win, he was always absolved, and his numbers were always good, and something weird would happen in a lot of their playoff losses, and it was just never, they never really examined the fact that it might partially be on him a little bit more. And so I could see a lot of talent, well coached, quarterback maybe not as good as Aaron Rodgers, but there's just kind of a weight lifted off the organization, or a little bit of a cloud lifted off the organization with all the weird stuff that's been attached to Aaron Rodgers these last few years. Now, he may go and be great with the Jets. He may go and it's kind of similar with the Jets, where they're really talented. They don't quite get over the hump. Nobody knows why, but you're not going to blame him because, he was willing to go to the Jets. So it just, I don't know. I think he's lived an interesting existence with the Packers after he won that Super Bowl, and especially these last maybe 4, 5, 6 years.
He gets treated very LeBron-esque by some of the same people actually that are, love to talk about how LeBron didn't have any help. Same people with Aaron Rodgers, because it would piss a lot of people off that Brady's stacking Super Bowls. And so it's very easy to be like, oh, well, yeah, but Rodgers never had a top, 3 defense. And hey, he never had Belichick and blah, blah, blah. You put Rodgers on the Patriots, they win. I totally agree.
JD, we'll let you go because I know you're back east and everything. We don't take too much of your time. But what do you think? Is there a chance the Niners could go on a real run? You kind of referenced it before. I'm just looking at that schedule. Rams, Giants on the home opener on a Thursday night. Thursday nights always seem to favor the home team. Cardinals quarterback issues. Dallas could be tough, but maybe in Cleveland could be sort of tough. And Minnesota didn't look very good today. Bengals didn't look very good today. And the Niners are looking like one of the real premier contenders. How far can the Niners? Is there any chance at all the Niners could have a major run and go into that Eagle game with 1 loss or less?
I mean, that's it. One would probably be pushing it because there's always one game that kind of pops up that's more difficult than maybe you think it is. You're just going to be playing a good team. Like going and playing at Minnesota is no picnic. I mean, I know Tampa just won there, and it's like, well, maybe they're not that good, and maybe they aren't, and they don't really play. At least last year they didn't play defense. We'll see how they develop this year. I mean, that's the kind of team that you'd think the Niners could go in and maybe out physical and put up points and get enough stops, put pressure on Cousins to make big plays. That's a night game, so that counts in the prime time category. It's a Monday night game in Minnesota, so you're maybe not getting the best Kirk Cousins in that game either. I don't know if I would say maybe 1 loss, but I think 2 is definitely on the table. I mean, to me, the lasting impression I have off of today is there's a real shot to be 4-0 going into Dallas. And that's kind of as far as I took it. But if you win that game, then we'll see. I mean, I think Cleveland and Minnesota, that's one of those where if you're telling me the Niners are playing Dallas, Cleveland, Minnesota, Cincinnati, those next 4, I would say they probably lose one of them. And I can't tell you which one. Like maybe it's Dallas comes in and they're playing well and they play the same game that they played in the playoff game, only they eke one out, 20-17 or something like that. Or they go to Minnesota and it's a tough game. They lose, maybe lose late. Or Cincinnati comes in when they're playing, better than obviously they played today. And so I would think the Niners would go 3-1 probably in that group of 4 or the worst 2-2. But I really have a hard time picking which 2 would be the 2. And then they play Jacksonville after that, who figures to be pretty good. So if you were telling me over under 1.5 for December 3rd at Philadelphia, I'd probably still take the over and feel pretty good about it in terms of the Niners having at least 2 losses. But I think they've got a great shot at being 4-0 going into that Dallas game, and having that Dallas game on Sunday Night Football 4 weeks from tonight feel massive.
I'll tell you where I think the tough
JD, great stuff, man. We'll let you jump. Hold on a second, Danny. Let me let JD out because JD, I appreciate you jumping in, man. I know it's cross-country flights coming up. When can we hear you again on 95.7? When do you appear next?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be jumping over to their post-game show momentarily here. That's okay. The next time. So, maybe you can podcast it or put it on in the background while you're watching the stream here. You do 2 things at once. And then tomorrow with Steiny and Guru, I believe, at some point between 10 and 2, we'll have a segment breaking down, talking about this game. And then, on pre and post, I'm going to be in LA next week. So feel free, guys, if you want me to pop on again for 15 minutes or so, as you guys are chopping it up. I would love to do that as well. And, should be fun. So appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
JD.
Thank you.
There you go. The great John Dickinson, 95.7 The Game, and he's going over to join Alan Stiles on 95.7 The Game, and Grandy. Grandy, of course, is a young talent over there, and Stiles, Grandy, and They've got one more guy, and I'm forgetting who it is. Anyway, it's over at 95.7 The Game. Check it out. Good stuff. They do a nice job over there for sure. All right. On that
Larry,
note, we also.
Go ahead. I was going to say
Danny, go ahead.
The schedule, the one part that looks to me like possible, I don't know if you want to call it a trap game, but a tough game, is the home game to Cincinnati. They play Monday night in Minnesota, come back home. Cincinnati's got a bye. Mm-hmm. So Cincinnati's going to be rested up. Niners playing on short rest.
I saw that earlier this year. That is the one that totally, you're right. There's that one game, and that's it. Say it again, Danny. The Niners will be flying cross country, and the Bengals will be coming off a bye with tons more rest.
And they got one, and the Niners are playing Monday night in Minnesota, so they got to travel back home. No practice Tuesday.
Short week,
and then the Bengals are coming off a rest. Bengals may already have 2 or 3 losses at that point. After losing today, Bengals are going to be.
They could be desperate.
Remember that stat that came out right
rest.
when the schedule came out, where it's like, oh, the Niners had the least amount of rest days differential to their opponent, and the Jets had the most. Like that's where that came from.
They're playing on short rest a ton this season.
Yeah,
they are.
The Jets have the best rest situation of any team in football. And I think the Bears were the team that has the worst. The Bears have the worst rest schedule. We bring in Damon Bruce. Damon and I will be doing a Monday show every Monday. Wake Up 49ers. Damon, tell everybody about our brand new extravaganza. In fact, let me get out of the way and just, have you explain to everybody the greatness of Monday mornings starting tomorrow. How you doing, man?
Fantastic. First of all, hello. It's great to see you, Larry. Great to see all of your guests as well. I've been watching you for the past 10, 15 minutes. I just wrapped up post-game over on my channel, and it's great to join you here. And we're going to invite everyone back Monday. This week, it's going to be on a Monday, but 49ers wake up every day after the 49ers play. So sometimes it'll be Tuesday if they're playing on Monday night. If they're playing on a Thursday, we're going to be doing it on Friday. But the morning after, and what are we calling this bad boy? 49ers wake up. So it's going to be the best Bay Area morning show reacting to a 49ers game available anywhere. You and I are going to crush it together. And for the first time, let me thank our exclusive sponsor who is going to be rolling with us all season, Palmetto Superfoods. And we're very excited about bringing them aboard. Larry, it's an opportunity for you and I actually to not just talk football, but to maybe even possibly eat healthy for once in our lives. And it's going to be a really good time. So we will talk more about it. We will keep promoting it. I'm expecting us to have a huge audience. We're going to be streaming it on both of our channels.
We're going to be powering down Aussie bowls.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, dude, you want to talk about something I've never had before? And it was delicious. I wasn't even pretending that it was delicious. It was actually delicious. And the Asahi, I got to figure out the right way to say that too. But these are really, really good bowls. It's not just a thing of granola. It's substantial. It's delicious. And I think that's a good way to describe the show that we're going to do. It's going to be substantial and delicious. 49ers wake up day after 49ers football. Larry Krueger and yours truly. And it's great to see everyone. It's good to be with you here, Larry. And look, what a game we just watched. I mean, even the most optimistic, confident 49er fan couldn't have expected
amazing.
That level of
amazing. Yeah.
Did something happen?
Yeah, no, it was a great win for the 49ers for sure. And there were a lot of good things. What's that? Are we freezing?
Oh, no.
No, we're good.
Oh, no. It looks like Kev froze, Danny froze, Damon froze. Damon froze.
I'm here.
I think
Damon, you might need to reboot.
No, you're good, Damon. I think you're good.
Yeah, I'm here. Frozen. I think it's on your end, Larry. Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm moving like this. You're and my screen. Damon's hand is up in the air and he's frozen.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well, not on my screen. I'm watching. I'll tell you what, Larry. I'll disconnect. I'll come on back.
All right, come on back. Hold on a second. We'll move him from the stage. I don't know. Was it Kev? What do you think?
I think
Who's
I think he
glitching?
just cut off on your end because he was talking and then you just started talking because I think he stopped on your end.
It seemed like a little bit of a delay maybe between the two of you guys.
Yeah.
You both look good to me though.
Yeah.
I don't
same.
know. Well, maybe we can get Damon back in here. But yes, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., we will be jumping in on our Monday morning 49er show, brought to you by Palmetto Fine Foods. And we appreciate them for sponsoring the Monday extravaganza, which is going to be 49er Wake Up. And now we bring Damon back. Damon, so I was just teasing it again that we were going to be doing our brand new show Monday morning, reacting to the game tonight, in this case this morning, Niners in the morning window on the East Coast. What's the biggest surprise to you about this one? I mean, I thought the 49ers would win. Early in the offseason, I thought they would win big. As it got closer, I thought, man, it would be close. I had them winning, but I didn't have them winning 30-7. What surprised you today about the performance?
How easy it was. Football is never easy at this level. It's certainly not easy when you're playing a Mike Tomlin team. Steelers teams are historically wildly physical. They win at the line of scrimmage, and they got pushed around today by the 49ers. That was easier than it should have been. And all of our worries about special teams, preseason, Mitch Wisnowski not punting particularly well, Jake Moody, worried about him. No worries in any of our major category of worries. Now, Colton McKivitz had a rough day, but TJ Watt's going to give an awful lot of right tackles rough days. I thought that the big problem with McKivitz was Shanahan left him out on an island. You got to have Kittle on that side. You got to have a chip, someone to help you with someone as devastating as TJ Watt can be. But it was a day that was easy. There's not a lot of easy days carved into anybody's NFL schedule. This was an easy day for the 49ers. They come out of it unblemished. They come out of it without major injury. Bosa didn't have a gaudy day, but he certainly came in great shape. This is going to help get him into football shape. And you'd be hard pressed to try to concoct a more impressive, more dominating win than the 49ers. And if not for a Diamador Lenore personal foul, which really I thought gave fire to a late first half drive by the Steelers, 49ers could have posted a 30-0 shutout this afternoon. I mean, that's how good they were. And going 30-0 over a team that has credibility like Pittsburgh is wildly impressive. I actually think the Steelers are going to be a pretty good team this year. I don't think they're as bad as we saw today, but the Niners might be as good as we saw today. They were outstanding.
The tone, I think, is going to be interesting this week because there were so many people that questioned Kyle Shanahan, so many people that were questioning John Lynch, so many people that were questioning Brock Purdy, and all the decision making. Oh, they waited so long, and Bosa this, and they screwed up there, and they a lot of negative comments. Hey, they waited to the last second to sign Bosa, and then he ultimately won the deal anyway, and how do you if you're one of these people that wants to be negative about the Niners to get clicks, how do you invent negativity out of 30-7 on the road against the Steelers?
Yeah, I guess you got to do the Colton McKivitz might be Mike McGlinchey in sheep's clothing show. I mean, there you go.
I guess
that would be it. Yeah, it's a really tough day from the had no fucking idea what they were looking at in the first place crowd. I don't care if you're there at training camp every day. You don't know what you're looking at. Half the people who you're talking about just do not know what they're seeing as they claim to be reporting on something that they're seeing. Brock Purdy can play. Straight up. Brock Purdy can play. He looked more comfortable today. He looked like he was having fun today. Did you see the big smile after that fourth quarter scramble and he gives you the red cash in first? Yeah.
That was the play of the game. That was one of the best plays of the game, I thought.
I thought another great play was when he just rolled in the opposite direction of the pressure coming to him, made a nice little throw. I think that was down to Debo.
Yes, great play there. Total dime.
It was
eluded the pressure, showed escapability.
if your biggest problem was Brock is still too inexperienced to be comfortable doing this, I think today he answered an awful lot of those questions. He can play, he can throw it, he can run this offense. He looked so confident, and I mean, he was rewarded for all of his good decisions. To me, the singular biggest play of the day was the Christian McCaffrey run to just snuff out any thought of the Steelers getting back into this
with
game.
the Ayuk and the Ray McLeod blocks.
Oh my God, that Ray! So one of the things I said on my post game here, Larry, and then I'll shut up. I know there's other people who want to talk here, but look, we have never. I've never seen it in print. I've never seen it discussed. I've never seen it in writing. A single word about Ray McLeod's football IQ. He's just a special fast player that makes good, special, hard to catch fast plays. And I've never heard anything about his on-field intelligence or savvy. The way that he let that block come to him, and he didn't pick up a clipping or a block in the back, that was Einstein level football awareness on a field. That was the play of the day. It was downfield wide receiver blocking pornography from Ayuk and Ray on that play. Play of the day, without a doubt.
Guys, who's your biggest week one winner of around the league? Who's the biggest week one winner? Is it Detroit and Goff and Dan Campbell for pulling the upset in KC? Who's the biggest winner? Is it Green Bay? I mean, Green Bay is having their way in their game today with Chicago right now, up 24-6. Is it the Niners kind of announcing to everybody that, hey, guess what? We're in our Super Bowl window. We're really a special football team, and we're going for it. Is it the Commanders? I mean, who the Ravens win convincingly, but they beat a young team at home. Or will it be Monday night with the Jets and the Bills? I mean, are we going to see the Jets? Do you guys believe in the Jets Hard Knocks magic? I mean, they might as well be, just announcing on that Hard Knocks every week on HBO that the Jets are their sleeper team to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they're clearly going to be talked about a ton, especially if they get off to a fast start. What's the week one story? Who's it? What's going to be the talk of the country in the next 24 hours? Let's go around the room, right?
Oh, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to say Deion Sanders. Yesterday, I forgot to say this earlier when we were talking about biggest winners, biggest takeaway. I know, obviously, this is just an awesome day of football, and there's just not much controversy with the Niners right now. But yesterday was just an awesome day of college football. Deion beating the hell out of Nebraska. I love seeing the Pac-12 actually be good, and it's also just like thinking it's hilarious because obviously the commissioner of the Pac-12 or whatever is kind of a jackass. So that sucks for them. And then Quinn Ewers and the boys, the Longhorns.
Yep, Sark going in.
The whole time I was like, somehow they're going to find a way to botch this, and just went into Alabama and won by 10. So
he's keeping Manning on the bench.
By the way, your reference to Deion, let's play it for everybody here. This is Deion. This is Deion. This is a great cut. Listen to this.
I never think about failure. I'm not a failure. I've won everywhere I've gone, all the way back from a shorty. I'm a darn winner, man. That's what I do. Not only a winner, my winning is not based on games. My winning is based on life. I want these kids to graduate, to be fine young men, to open doors, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sirs, no, sirs, to be fathers, not baby daddies, to be real men that shows up on time and early, that if they say they're going to do it, they do it. I want them to raise young women with grace and class and dignity. I want them to graduate. I want them to own things. We teach so much other than just football here. It's unbelievable. That's why I'll always say, if you send me a boy, I'm going to send you back a man. And I mean that 100%.
Look at that, Deion.
How'd you had that clip on deck? Like, where did that come from?
What's that? No, it's funny. I saw it on Twitter just as Rye was saying that, and I'm like, you know what? I can share that screen and play that.
By the way, I love
profound,
how
man.
I love how much total bullshit that is from Dion too, because he threw more than half of his football team off a football team, not giving a damn about making any fine young men out of them. This guy is running a college team like it's an NFL team. He went through free agency and a transfer portal, and whether or not, I mean, this is man who just before
They're winning.
You win was saying, I don't care about culture. I just want to win. What's amazing about Dion? What's really amazing about Dion is this is not some sizzle, razzle, dazzle shit. He can coach. He can coach. He can find the hole in the defense and exploit it.
He can recruit. I mean, you got to be able to do two things. You got to be able to recruit, and you got to be able to coach.
He did both.
And you got to be able to motivate people. You got to be able to do all three of those things. He can do all those things.
And his son's a great quarterback.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's like a massive W for him. He's so sick. And also just the betting FOMO of like them being over under 3.5.
Dang.
Like what? They're gonna be that's free money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Kev, what do you think? Go ahead, Danny.
All right. I'll say two things. College, I think the talk's going to be Sark going into Alabama and beating Nick Saban. Sark being the old offensive coordinator there, first loss for Alabama since they lost to LSU at home in 2019. And I think in the NFL, the winner, you mentioned who's the big winner? I think it's the Niners because two things. They went in and dominated, and they come out with no injuries in game one.
And a huge win against a really physical team that's going to be tough to beat in their place all year. Right? I mean, that's the other part of this.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick aside and thank our sponsors, MarinAutoGlass.com, 415-883-3030, New York Style Sausage Company, and, of course, Pig in a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krueg Show. Check them out, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week now, guys, in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle. Legit the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. I just dragged Damon there the other day. Damon, your review of Pig in a Pickle.
It's not just good barbecue for Northern California. It's good barbecue. I mean, what more of a ringing endorsement can you, like a Texan could sit down at the Pig in the Pickle and not make any jokes about like, yeah, this is good if you grade it on a scale. It's good barbecue. It was fantastic. Great bark, great sauces, great service, great location. I love that place that we went, Larry, that little, kind of indoors farmers market over there in the
Emeryville Public Marketplace is one of their locations. It's got a great spot there in Emeryville, kind of a food mall, if you will.
Yeah. And you said that, your kids, Kevin is a big fan of the, the what is it? White
mac and cheese,
mac
the white cheddar mac and cheese.
Yeah, the mac and cheese.
Yeah, Kev,
that's some fat boy happiness.
Kev likes
right
the white
there.
cheddar mac and cheese.
It's a really good thing that we have a Palmetto superfood sponsor because we're going to need to expunge all that pig in the pickle from us to then replace it with something that is good and healthy. You can be a fat ass on the weekends, make good choices Monday through Friday. That's what we're going to be doing, Larry.
I like that motto.
There you go. That might be the moniker that we say. Be a fat ass on the weekends.
That macaroni, man. If that macaroni puts some hair on your head, man, I got to come up and get some macaroni. Huh?
You look good.
Yeah, no more completes, Danny.
Yeah. You just took the top down in the
Danny's
convertible.
completes him. Danny, did you win in fantasy this week?
I'm winning right now.
I ask with lots of fear.
I am winning right now. I've got a 70% chance of winning according to Yahoo odds, but you know how that goes. Could change in a moment. Hopefully not.
And also thanks to
change at a moment's notice.
Sponsors, Dad. Our 2 fantasy sponsors.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, go ahead, Kev. You can mention it.
I was just say if you guys want to play fantasy football with Larry, Underdog Fantasy, Mojo Fantasy, links in the description. But I was gonna say the team that I thought
and
was
the code for both is Krueg, Krueg, Krueg. Go ahead, Kev.
The team I thought that was most improved or most impressive. I was gonna go Lions, but then I was thinking about that game, and they did play really well. And I've heard Lions fans say like that's the game that we haven't won in the last 20 years. Like that's the game we lose, but we won it this time. I just thought there was a lot of opportunities that Casey just dropped the ball. Made stupid plays. I think the Lions played well, but I think there was a lot of opportunities for Casey to actually come up on top. I think right now, as I'm watching on the right side of the screen, the Packers are killing the Bears right now. And I think that's huge for them. And there's a huge doubt in Jordan Love. And, they look like they're going to be a good team this year.
It's a soul-sucking win for Bears fans, too, because you finally rid of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Green Bay does look good.
Yeah. Oh, it's just, you're going to let Jordan Love be the next putting the cigarette out in the middle of your forehead Packer quarterback for Bears. It's going to be Chicago Sports Talk Radio is going to burn the city down tomorrow. It's going to be great.
True.
John Chapman puts on Twitter, he says, CMC is on pace for 374 touches. And Dave Lombardi on Twitter has this little nugget. He says, Brock Purdy is the first quarterback in NFL history to log a passer rating of 95 or better in each of his first 6 career regular season starts.
Or, as
you can say whatever you want about Brock Purdy.
He threw 2 interceptions.
That's right. He threw 2 interceptions every day, including a pick 6. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. But yeah, they struggled against the Raiders in the joint practices. They got taken by the Raiders. And I guess maybe we should just all pump the brakes on the joint practice evaluation. Maybe dial back. Is that what we learn out of this, guys? Is we should maybe dial back the intensity of the joint practice evaluation?
I think all the buzz that was coming from that
Anybody?
was more that Kyle said that he took more took more credence in those practices, and Brock threw picks in those. People were trying to at Brock by saying, "Oh, Brock played bad in those," and therefore, Trey Lance. But I mean, who cares now? That's all over.
But I mean, it doesn't preseason record at the end of the day, good, bad, or indifferent, really not mean much. I mean, give you an example. I watched all 3 Steeler preseason games. I watched them all, every single snap of all 3 games. Yes, sadly, I am that guy. So I watched Steelers Tampa, Steelers Buffalo, Steelers Falcons. The Falcons, who are nothing, they haven't won anything, in the 3rd and final preseason game, didn't play any of their number 1 guys. It's dude, you're the Falcons. You haven't won anything. It might be time to get out on the field and actually prove what you are as a team. Instead, they sat out everybody, and the Steelers just destroyed them. But it just kind of goes to show you the Steelers overwhelmed Buffalo and Tampa and Atlanta in the preseason. And it just kind of goes to show you that, and the Niners could not stop the run to save their life. They gave up 6.5 yards a carry to Denver, 6.5 yards a carry in the Charger game. The Raiders gouged them all day. What did Pittsburgh run for today? Actually, Pittsburgh had a big run day too. That's a receiving day. No, Pittsburgh had a terrible run day. 10 carries, 41 yards. 4.1 a carry on 10 carries. Now, obviously, the biggest part about that is you get up early, right? You get up a big lead and you take away the run game. But I think overall, there was a chance, I'm sure, in the Steelers' minds that Najee Harris and Jalen Warren and Anthony McFarland would just run up and down the field on the Niner defense based on what we saw in the preseason. I asked Shanahan directly. I said, are you concerned about the run D? And he's like, well, if I was gauging it based on the preseason, yeah, I'd be very nervous. And so kind of acknowledging that they were bad in that area in the preseason. But then he went on to say, but, we were number 1 in the league last year against the run. And we did, we did play some young linebackers. And we did kind of give up some big yards to, Max Duggan in that Charger game in the second half. Didn't defend him very well. And we did give up a 75-yard run to Joshua Kelly. We just got kind of a bad run fit. So, he didn't make excuses, but he was kind of to say, well, we haven't been good against the run, but we expect to be better. Today, they were much, much better. Much better.
It's amazing what happens to a team when they stop playing players that they end up cutting and not even making the team. I mean, and that's what I've been saying. This whole, what did you learn in the preseason? Did you learn anything? This is what I've been saying before it even started. This is why experience matters. This is why you and I bring things to the table that, again, I know I got ripped. Choose your content creators carefully, everyone. If you just have dipshit fanboys screaming about everything that they saw today and they have no context for it, you're going to be misinformed. No football matters until week 1. Seriously, I've been preaching it. I was told I was mean for saying such a thing. And what you saw today was the NFL tell you that some of these guys out there don't know what the hell they're talking about, don't even know what they're looking at when they claim to cover it. So straight up, there you go. It's real easy to see who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't know what they're talking about by 3:48 in the afternoon of week 1, isn't it?
Damon, what time is the show going to start tomorrow morning?
We're going at 8:30, Larry, 8:30 a.m. I got to do a little kid drop off and run. And we are starting at 8:30. I can't wait. It is going to be a really, really good show. I think it's going to be the single best morning show in sports in the Bay Area, much less a football-centric 49er focus show. We got this. We got this. And
Kev designed all kinds of things. Kev has been our engineer, Damon, behind the scenes. He's already designed wraparounds and the guy.
I'm very excited. Kevin is incredibly talented. He's a big part of your success. I don't have a secret weapon like Kevin at home. I wish I did. Larry, maybe you'll lend me out Kevin for like a month so I can really grow my channel. But your audience has been amazing. Our combined
all those years, Damon, when you were single and throwing back cocktails in the in bars, I was bouncing this kid on my knee, and now I'm ahead of the game. While you were throwing them back on Union Street and taking home co-eds in the Triangle, this kid was vomiting on my shoulder. All right, and now look, I've sprouted him up. I've grown them all up. Now we can do stuff. I'm telling you, your secret weapon. You should have started faster. You should have started younger.
It's always adoption. I mean, come on.
Damon suddenly adopted a kid, and he just worked that kid to death on the show.
Right.
The kid was like adopted. He wasn't even in the house for like 24 hours, and you've already given him like, this is how you make videos. This is what you make a month. This is where you live.
Adopt a 22-year-old college senior to finally get this channel up and going the way Kevin made your channel.
Hey, I got the Krueg Show X the Plus for tomorrow.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
I really appreciate that. I tell you what, though, if I don't get upstairs and pay a little attention to my kids and my wife right now, there might not be much of me left. But Larry, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on and say hello to you guys. It's always good to see you guys. It's great to talk to your audience. And tomorrow we combine the audiences, Larry, and we're going to have ourselves the single best day after show you're going to get anywhere. I mean, at any market, covering any team. I think you and I are going to do it better than anyone. It is always good to be on with you. And again, with the secret weapon, Kevin, how could we miss?
We'll scream at each other tomorrow. All right.
If you need a good nap today, Damon, go turn on the Giants game.
I was about to say, what do we got going on with the Giants, Dan?
5 o'clock.
It's a wild playoff race right now. There's just a lot of real excitement around town.
Lots of excitement. I was watching.
The bars are bursting with Gabe Kapler fans. Lots of people are into it this year.
Look at it this way. I don't know what needs to happen with Farhan, but he can't do 5 more years of this. No, thank you. What are you kidding me? Come on.
All right, Damon, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you, boys. Good to talk to you.
There you go. There you go. Damon Bruce. What is going on Giants right now? Did they just start?
No, they don't start for another hour. But did you see
4
what
o'clock.
Ross Stripling came out and said yesterday?
No, but I saw that the kid that they traded, Newcomb, the lefty who they had in their farm system, is pitching well for the A's. Way to go there. You couldn't have used Sean Newcomb? I think you could have.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
What does Stripling say?
Stripling came out, big article. Evan Weback posted just about 6 o'clock last night that Stripling basically threw the Giants under the bus. He said, I don't even know. I'm basically on a phantom IL. I can help this team. I've pitched in September. I know what it's like, how to get outs in September. I've been on playoff teams. They sent me to Sacramento to pitch, and then I drove 2 hours up there, and they called me and told me right as I'm walking in, hey, come down to San Diego. Cobb may be hurting. And he goes, can I at least pitch an inning? He goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, the fact that he came out and said that with 20 games to go tells you there's a lot going on in that clubhouse with Kapler. And then Farhan comes in yesterday and gives a pregame speech What GM gives a what? I thought that was the manager's job. Jeez. I think they're feeling some heat.
Wake me when the season ends.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I'm snoozed out on the Giants right now. Rye, where are you on the Giants? Are you following it? Are you like, that's it, I'm done with it? Or are you so into the NFL you're just like, Giants what? I'm not doing that.
No, I kind of pretended for a little bit, but now that the NFL's here, it's over. The second college football started, honestly. If anything, I'll be rooting for the Rangers come postseason for sure. But I want everyone fired with the Giants, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Is there any, going back to the Niners, so we don't lose the entire room?
Yeah.
Going back to the Niners, it's an overwhelming win, but we wouldn't be us if we didn't hunt for the non-silver lining. You know what I mean? There's two kinds of ways to do sports media. You can look for the silver lining on a bad team, or you can look for the weakness on a great team, right? It's like and on this year, it looks like the Niners are going to be one of the NFL's better teams. What would you say? What would you guys say based on what you saw today? I mean, the Niners won 30-7. They were good on special teams. They held the Steelers down on the defensive side. You know, they really didn't do anything in the first half at all. At one point, it was like 199 yards to 1 or something like that.
Yeah.
The Steelers' first down came late second quarter. It was the game was a very one-sided game. And then Ayuk had a big day, and Purdy looked good, and CMC looked good, and basically there's a lot of positives. What are the biggest concerns that you have for the 49ers coming out of this one?
I actually have 3. One is Colton McKivitz. Even though he's going against TJ Watt, it's still concerning when you let a guy get 3 sacks, a tackle for loss, and almost 2 forced fumbles. That's concerning. The other ones aren't that concerning. I didn't really like how many touches CMC got. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but I just think that you gotta preserve him, and he had almost 30 touches. And I just wouldn't like. I mean, in the later stages of the game, I would like Elijah Mitchell to get more touches. And then the third one, I didn't like their kickoff coverage. I thought they're kind of weak in kickoff right now. I think they're going to get busted. They were like 1 or 2 tackles, like one missed tackle.
It looked like the Steelers looked like they could take one to the house.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, that was a concern. Danny, what do you think? What's your number one concern, or do you have multiple like Kev?
McKivitz was obvious a little bit. I think he looked a little slow at a couple of times on the outside when he just kind of just looked like his feet were in mud as Watts just went right around him. But the other thing, and again, we're getting a little nitpicky here. Obviously, we're trying to find
30-7.
You're right. We're trying to find something. One concern I might have is the fact that Juwan Jennings went 0 receptions today as your number 3 receiver. I think maybe 1 target. I don't think it's a big concern because it's they were dominant with Ayuk and McCaffrey. So I think it's just going to get spread around at times. I think, you're going to see Debo have games like Ayuk had today. You're going to see there's so many weapons. You're going to see Kittle get some games get 2 TDs. That's the beauty of this offense, and that there's no one you can just zero in on week to week, because I think Kyle can dial it up different guys based on the matchups and what the defense is doing.
Rye, what do you think? What's your number one concern?
Honestly, it's just injuries and kind of, I would say it's a 2-parter. It's Purdy being a little too reckless. Obviously I think every Niners fan loves the way he plays and the way he's down to be a little reckless and all that, and he's for the boys, but it's scary, man. I don't want to have to go to Sam Darnold. I don't want to have to. That would suck. Although it would be entertaining, but it would suck. And then the second part is, and like if we were talking like how would I come up with a zag that somehow I could get mad at Shanahan after this game or something, The CMC workload was definitely, it was a lot. I actually don't care, but I'm like I was already getting annoyed during the game when they weren't putting in Mitchell, because I was like, no, like if CMC gets injured or any little nick up, like that's going to be the thing. Everyone's going to pile on top of Kyle for being an idiot and running CMC into the ground like he does everybody. But I will say right now, I've got my little red zone going on the iPad here.
Yeah.
I'm loving. I have a lot of Raiders fans friends, and like it's kind of fun to watch them go through the Jimmy G experience, because it's the full experience right now.
Didn't he just throw an interception on the 3-yard line?
Yeah. Yes. He fumbled the ball, but other than that,
he's got 2 touchdowns. He's got a pick. Right.
Before that, he was doing really well. I saw some people on Twitter. Most people were like, "Oh, he's good," but some people were like, "Oh, classic Jimmy. Like Devontae Adams must be so pissed. All these little slant routes and nothing deep." And then he throws the pick. But Broncos come down, kick a field goal, and then just like when they needed it most, he did just drive them down 2 minutes and then threw a touchdown. So it's going to be one of those Rorschach tests where like you could give any take after this game, which is always the Jimmy experience.
I thought Jerry Jeudy was going to have a big year. Is he hurt? He's hurt. He's being shut out if he's playing. Samaje Perine has an extraordinarily large role in that Denver offense. Perine's got 8 rushes. He's got a team leading 4 receptions. That's kind of interesting. I would say my big concern with the 49ers, a couple. One is, you did give up a lot of hits on your quarterback. Now, it is Pittsburgh, right? And it could have been worse. And if you had said to me last night, hey, can you live with 7 hits on the quarterback? I would have said, yeah, I can live with that. That's a totally acceptable number, because that number could have been 15, right? But still, in a 17-game schedule, that's on pace for 119 hits on the quarterback. It's a lot of hits. So, like, I'm okay because it's Steelers and they have a great rush and you're on the road, but I'd like to see them get rid of the football a little bit quicker and not give up 7 hits on their quarterback. That's the first one. That might be a little ticky-tack because the Steelers are damn good, and the old saying, they get paid too, kind of a thing, right? So, and sure enough, Highsmith, to me, if there was one Steeler that when the game ends, there's always like one player on the other team. You're like, wow, I really have real appreciation for that guy. To me, it's Highsmith, Alex Highsmith, 7 tackles, 4 solo, had a tackle for a loss, played really fast. They were combo blocking him a couple times. He split the block and still made the play. He really impressed me. But yeah, the hits on the quarterback would be one. That seems like a little bit of ticky-tack, but I'd love it to be a lower number. Let's just say this. If the Niners average 7 hits on the quarterback, that's not great. I think I'd like to see that number more like 3 to 4 and maybe have him take a few less hits, because I agree. I'm not eager to see the Sam Darnold era. And that's one. Number 2, you have Elijah Mitchell, J.P. Mason, Ty Davis-Price, who wasn't even active today, Juszczyk. You have Debo. You don't need to give Christian McCaffrey 22 rushes and 25 touches. I mean, they passed it to him 5 times. They handed it to him 22 times. I mean, he could have had as many as 27 touches on the day. That's a lot. That's a lot of touches against
a lot of pounding on the body.
Yeah, so I just would, and if you didn't have suitable 2s and 3s, I get it. Look at Tennessee's receivers behind Treylon Burks and D-Hop. It's a bunch of it's a bunch of nobodies. It's like those guys have to get the ball. But the Niners have options, so I'd love to see them spread that, because really at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is spread around the hits, because these guys take unbelievable hits. And then the other one is, the 49ers, Kittle to me looks a little sore. I don't know. He had 3 catches for 19 yards. He's out there with a groin. They targeted him 6 times. He looks to me a little like he's a player that runs through you and not around you. And it just seems like maybe there's a There's a residual, whatever the opposite of a benefit is, residual payment on all the hits he's taken. What did you guys think of Kittle today, and what did you guys think of Kittle this summer so far?
Well, so I wasn't aware. Was there like a moment when he hurt his groin, or is it just kind of a?
They said in the last game against the Chargers that he hurt it.
I agree.
They've been babying him in practice.
Okay, so I want to believe. I think he might be one of those guys where at this point, like maybe you don't want him. You don't want to spend a high fantasy football pick on him, but he's going to show up in the games where it really counts. But it's kind of almost like he might be getting to the point where it's kind of like Gronk. Like Gronk was like an old, 30 in the game just because he took so much punishment. And Kittle, groin's kind of scary. That's something that can linger all season.
One of the most positive notes of the day, in my opinion, and I don't know, I haven't been able to watch every game, of course, but one of the real positive notes I thought is if you guys are watching Eagles Patriots, Mac Jones does not move around well at all, right? He doesn't have great weapons. The Eagles today, and this game has 9 minutes to play still in the fourth quarter. Eagles have no sacks. They had 70 sacks last year. They don't have a single sack of Mac Jones. They only have 3 quarterback hits. Hassan Reddick has one. Brandon Graham has one. Fletcher Cox has one. That's it. 3 quarterback hits and no sacks. They may miss Javon Hargrave this year more. Everybody talked up the rookies, and Jalen Carter, I'm sure, is going to be a nice player. But if he's playing today, he's not in the box score. You know what I'm saying? It's like he hasn't made a single tackle if he is playing. And then the other guy who is real noticeable that we spent a lot of time talking about a bunch of things this offseason. One thing we didn't talk about very much, the Eagles not only lost Hargrave, they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And if you watch that opener, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson looks like he could be a force for the Lions, and the Eagles don't have him. Now they're in, that being said, they're in New England. They're up 8 points in the fourth quarter. It's not like they're in danger of losing this thing. But maybe the Eagles and the Chiefs, who were, the 2 teams that I would put clearly in front of the Niners, just if we're just going off week 1, right? And then it's a week-to-week league. But going off of week 1, you take Kelsey away from the Chiefs and look at their receivers, and there's no Chris Jones, they don't look the same. And you take Hargrave and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson away from Philly, and Hargrave and that pass rush, he had 11.5 sacks last year. They don't look quite the same either. What do you guys think of Chiefs and Eagles in week 1?
I'm watching this Eagles game right now. They're kind of surprised me. They're up 22-18, and they're going no huddle and throwing on every pass, on every play. I'm like, what are they? I know you're trying to put a score up, but it's like you're playing New England. I mean, it's not the greatest offense. I mean, run the clock down a little bit and just you're up by 8. It's just crazy. But I don't know. I think the Eagles, like you said, no sacks today. They don't. I mean, New England's an okay team. They're playing at home, but they're not putting them away. And as far as the Chiefs go, I think the Chiefs, I'm not worried about the Chiefs really, because Jones will come in, Kelsey will get healthy. And what was it, a year or 2 ago, that maybe 2 years ago, something like that, they were like 3-3 or something like that. And everybody was saying, the Chiefs don't look really good. And all of a sudden, there they are in the AFC Championship again. They didn't win it that year 2 years ago, but Chiefs, they're going to be there at the end. So I don't worry about them. You got Patrick Mahomes on there. I mean,
what do you think, Ryan? You think Chiefs and Eagles are worse than they were a year ago?
It's kind of hard to judge without Kelsey. Is it really possible that he is that valuable to the team? It really could. I mean, could be, just because they don't have really, anybody else that's insane as receivers, and the running backs are fine. But I mean, he is that safety blanket. I feel like he's like the minimum. Like Mahomes doesn't need a lot. He doesn't need insane receivers, but like he needs a Kelsey. It's kind of like Brady, back in the day. Like he always needed that like Edelman or Wes Welker. He needs that safety blanket, and that's what Kelsey is. But you know what? This is the first time Kelsey's kind of been banged up really in a while. And people forget Travis Kelsey is the same age as Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, I know.
He's
He's older. I mean, he's older. Yeah, this could be the tail end of the run for Kelsey. Hey, guys, you and I, we've done so many different shows, and some of the most fun segments are we go boots on the ground. We go boots on the ground in Pittsburgh right now for Nico Contreras, my son's buddy and my good high school buddy's son, who's in Pittsburgh and was pictured today earlier with the great John Calipari. And he joins the Krueg show. Nico, how are you, man? How's things in Pittsburgh?
I'm good, Larry. I mean, things in Pittsburgh couldn't be better. Obviously, we came away with a great win. Can't complain. It's awesome out here. The vibes are great.
Now, be honest with me. Is Caesar underwriting this cross country jaunt to Pittsburgh? Is Caesar cutting the check on this?
Caesar's not cutting the check on this. I actually have to thank Yaya and Papu, the grandparents, for the birthday present to bring me out here for the 21st. So I'm not financing it, but I have to thank Yaya and Papu for bringing me out here.
Nico, I got to ask you, because there was a moment in this game where I looked over at Kev and I'm like, F yeah. And it was the moment in the fourth quarter with the 49ers on their 10th drive. And that ultimately resulted in a Jake Moody field goal. But I could hear it coming through the TV. Let's go Niners there at Heinz Field. What was that moment like at Heinz Field, seeing the 49er fans in very hostile situation kind of taking over that field?
So, I mean, that moment was awesome. I mean, we were all out there. I was being rowdy from the very beginning. But, I mean, the Pittsburgh fans, they were a little rowdy. Didn't want us to be talking. But, I mean, by the end of the game, like you just brought up, there was no Pittsburgh fans left. So, I mean, the Niners faithful were letting it be heard,
Awesome.
Hey, Nico,
awesome.
at what point during the game? At what point during the game was the atmosphere just sucked out of the crowd?
I mean, the atmosphere was sucked out of the crowd by the time of the second quarter. I mean, we were clearly dominating the game on both sides of the ball, and I mean, they couldn't really get anything going. They only had 1 yard before that touchdown drive in the end of the first half. And I mean, when they had the touchdown, they had a little rowdiness, but I mean, after that, we completely shut them down. So I mean, from there on out, we had complete control of the game from the crowd and in the game.
So since you now are of age, and this is a very legal question, what was the beer of choice there? Because I don't they have their favorite local breweries there in Steeltown? There's all kinds of Steeler beers there. What did you go with today, Nico, in game? What was your in-game beverage of choice?
Larry, I'm an IPA guy, so I mean, I was with the hazies the whole game. That's just like what I was rolling with the entire game.
Damn, you developed a taste for an IPA in like 20 hours? That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the atmosphere couldn't have been any better. Niners faithful showed out. I know we call the Rams Stadium Levi's South. You call this stadium, Levi's Northeast, I guess.
Not as hostile, I guess, as the Eagle fans, huh? The Eagle fans, I guess, are a little bit more hostile in Pennsylvania than maybe Steeler fans a little classier than the Eagle fans?
Definitely a little classier, but I mean, Larry, we're going to end up in Philadelphia once we play the Eagles, and we're definitely going to take over that stadium as well. We got revenge coming for them.
Nico, give us your Brock Purdy breakdown. What do you think? I mean, there's going to be so much dialogue. There's been so much dialogue about Brock Purdy, his strengths, his weaknesses. I'm a believer to the point where I know I make people sick. There are other people that question him to a level that it makes me sick. Where are you on the Purdy train? How much of a believer are you at this point?
I'm an extreme Purdy believer. I mean, even since last season, in my opinion, he went undefeated. That Eagles game doesn't count to me. He got hurt. He was out of there. He looked awesome today. Like Willie Snead said, I think a little bit ago, I've been saying this for a while now. I think Brock Purdy's on his way to be a Drew Brees type of player. That's who I compare him to. So I'm an extreme Brock Purdy believer. Believe in him in full force, and I think he's going to lead us to great things this year. I'm excited that he's leading the helm for us.
Are you running to the airport now to come back to the Bay, or is this just the beginning of your jaunt?
Not the beginning, but I mean, we're heading back Tuesday. Me and my buddy are going to go see, I think, the Pirates Nationals game tomorrow, but just enjoying the atmosphere out in Pittsburgh and going out to dinner right now.
And once again, to confirm, this is not a trip that was funded in any way by Cesar Contreras and Cesar Contreras Realty.
Cesar did not fund this trip. As much as Cesar Contreras Realty may want to claim funding this trip, he did not. It's all thanks to Yaya and Papu. Thanks to them. Got to thank the Greek grandparents. They funded this trip in full, and I'm sure they are watching and rooting for the Niners in full force at home.
Just because I may see Cesar Contreras at a Northgate football game at some point in the next few weeks, can you plug Cesar Contreras Realty?
Hey, I mean, if you're shopping in San Francisco, you're looking for a house, apartment, condo, no matter what it may be, hit up Cesar Contreras. He'll hook you up. He's with Compass Realty, and he'll take care of you.
There you go. Sang Nation's Wildcat through and through. Go Cats, get them Cats.
Exactly.
Go get them
Go
Cats.
Cats all the way.
There you go. Cesar, so one last one before we let you go. What was the one thing of this game that kind of surprised you? Because I don't think a lot of people thought it was going to be a blowout. And ultimately it was. What was the most surprising part of today? Was it that the Steelers weren't that good, that the Niners were better, that the Steeler fans got quiet so quickly? Was there one thing either on the field or off the field that stood out to you as kind of a surprise in this one?
I mean, Larry, I can't lie. I'm a betting man. I like betting.
That's all right.
I saw today that the line was moving down. I saw that the Steelers, were being favored by Vegas. I ended up not betting on the Niners, which I would usually do, but I couldn't today just because I saw that. What really surprised me is how electric our offense was from the jump. I mean, you guys know in past years, the Niners offense has kind of started off a little bit slow. And today I thought we looked absolutely amazing. Purdy looked great. The offensive line looked great. And I thought everyone really did their part. Ayuk really surprised me a little bit. He looked awesome today. And I mean, I think it's just a great building point for us to start on to move on for the rest of the season.
When you get together with Kevin, do you give him grief about being a YouTube, burgeoning YouTube star now?
I mean, with the fame and stuff, I don't get to see Kevin as much, because of all the fame and everything. But
the paparazzi, it's hard to get to him.
It's hard to get around.
The fame's getting to him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, he's a big.
Sorry for the Pittsburgh faithful's being a little loud right now, but
Kevin's a big deal around the Countrywood Mall.
We give Kevin a good time. He's definitely doing a great job. I appreciate what he's doing for the Niner faithful, and I'm happy to see him continue his career in the social media game.
There you go. Nico, we'll let you go, brother. Good to see you. Safe travels. Say hi to the great Cesar, the most social man in America today is Cesar Contreras. And I hear you take after him. Oh, by the way, what happened with the Calipari thing? I mean, so I saw the Calipari picture.
So this
for those who don't follow Cesar on social media, which is probably most of you, he actually took a picture with John Calipari.
Not Cesar, Nico did.
Or not Cesar, Nico. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm confusing you with your father, your much more famous father, the realtor. But you got a chance to go one-on-one with the great John Calipari. Did you guys talk about vacating the Final Four at all?
So the Calipari interaction was actually a really good one. I was trying to get in contact with my uncle who was also at the game. He was in a suite, so I was trying to finesse my way into those sections a little bit. Couldn't get in there. I was having trouble trying to reach him. We couldn't connect. I see Coach Calipari, gave him a little shout. He came over to me. We talked a little bit. He said, walk with him. I walked with him, and I ended up getting through to the section. Talked a little bit. I had to lie and say I was a big Kentucky basketball fan. Sorry to my Tar Heels because I am a North Carolina fan. Had to lie to be able to get into the section. So
You sold out in the moment.
I did sell out, Larry. I'm sorry to say it, but I sold out a little bit. Went with Calipari. Ended up seeing my uncle. So John worked the magic for me. So, I mean, all props to John Calipari. Great guy. Super cool dude. Took the time to be able to, give time to me and be able to talk to me about whatever it was.
Nico, Are you with a group of people right now, or is it just you?
My group is in the restaurant right now. I'm outside of a restaurant right now, but for now, it's just me.
All right, brother. Hey, we'll let you go. Enjoy Pittsburgh. You know what we thought we were going to see today that we didn't see was any rain. Didn't rain there today, huh?
No rain. No, it was great weather out there. It was like 70s. I mean, couldn't ask for better. We knew the Niner domination was coming. The faithful showed out. Couldn't have been a better day.
All right, Nico. Thanks for doing boots on the ground and reporting back with us. Say hi to Pops and safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, Nico.
Larry, thank
Later,
you.
brother.
Thank you, all you guys. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
There you go. Peace.
Peace.
The great Nico Contreras, son of Cesar Contreras.
You were
Well,
calling him.
New England,
You were calling him Caesar that entire interview, and I'm like, his name isn't Caesar. It's his dad's
Well,
name.
you know what? I
Cool
confuse
name.
my Caesars and my Nikos. I've always had that problem. I take a couple
that's a
pills
common
every day,
one.
but it still doesn't work.
Yeah, that's a common one.
It's a
Hey,
common
you know,
one. It's a-
you know, the Rams are surprising. They're beating Seattle with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Hey, that's what I wanted to ask you guys. Enough of this Niner talk and actual real talk. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty.
Jimmy just won the game.
What did we wager on today?
With a play.
What did you guys wager on this
just
weekend?
the-
On the NFL. I mean, because I'll say this. I was so fired up for Niners and I was so enthralled with the matchup and so kind of, I felt good, but I didn't feel cocky about it, that I didn't bet the Niners because I'm like, I don't need to bet the Niners. I'm already juiced up for this. And then I looked around and I was thinking about the Ravens, but I just didn't. I bet Alabama and whatchamacallit yesterday, A&M, and I lost with Miami and Texas. So I said, you know what? I got burned on the college game, so I just sat it out today. Did you guys wager at it at all today?
I didn't get anything in yet. No,
I didn't bet anything, and it was
What?
So,
I'm very disappointed in you guys.
I know.
I got spooked. I got spooked.
God
by
damn
college
it!
Football.
Why can't you guys throw some money around? No, but seriously, I like the old Dan and the old Ryan who used to, yes, I've got a 3-teamer going.
I know.
I'm
I had
don't tell my wife, don't tell my girlfriend. I've got a 2-team teaser. I miss those days. So no wagers going. Kev, I know you got some money going on something.
I had a lot of wagers this week. Dan might know this one, but I went to the Giants game on Friday, and I had a 2-team.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. But did somebody break into the house and leave you 2 tickets?
I had a 2-leg parlay on over Harrison strikeouts and the Giants money line, and Harrison just didn't get
Jalen Hurts fumbled.
Oh!
What do we got here? Patriots.
Recovered.
Patriots.
Patriots
Well, no, they haven't won though.
Oh.
Patriots have the ball.
Midfield.
3:28 to play in the fourth,
Jones
down
Jr.
5.
Yeah, they would be down 3. They Mac Jones ran in the 2-point conversion, and they called holding on the play. So we're
rooting for the Patriots here. My nephew Joey is a
definitely.
big Patriots fan, so we're rooting with Joe.
I'm rooting for the Pats for sure.
Yes, and that is awesome.
And the Chargers Dolphins a wild one as well. Dolphins have the ball on their own 25-yard line. 3 minutes 50 seconds to play. They're down 4. And the Chargers just got a monster hit in that game.
Oh!
So we got Patriots Eagles finishing here. How great would it be to see the nine? I mean, could there be a better start to the year than Niners go to Heinz Field and slap around the Steelers to the tune of 30-7, only to see the Chiefs and the Eagles both fall in week 1? That's almost like the ideal dream week 1. I don't know if I could have anything better than that.
Plus the Rams now just going to come in pretty cocky after this easy win.
If the Giants beat the Cowboys tonight, I mean, the Niners are going to be standing alone at the top of the NFC. Maybe
What is your guys'
NFL.
thought on tonight, by the way? Does anybody have an angle on tonight? You see, as I'm now looking to jonesing, looking to gamble.
Yeah.
Does it sound like it? I'm starting to itch. But seriously, the Cowboys have owned the Giants. I mean, I know the history on it. I don't think the Giants have won in week 1 for a long time. Cowboys have owned them. But I really like what the Giants did in the offseason. I don't know what you guys think of New York Giants coming into this year, but do you guys have a thought on New York? I mean, they got Isaiah Simmons the other day from the Cardinals. They've got some extra weapons. I don't know. Do you believe in Danny Dimes?
I believe in Dable. I think Dable's actually a decent coach. They don't have very many weapons, and Waller is 50-50 tonight. I think he is going to play, but like Waller's their best target, and I drafted him being like, oh, he's the guy, like he's going to get all the target share, and then immediately it's like he might be injured, and it's like, oh my god, like again. But I actually have the Giants +3 tonight. I think they might be good.
Up to +3.5. I would definitely take the Cowboys, especially it's in Jersey. I mean, if
You take the Cowboys.
Or no. I would take the Giants plus the 3.5.
Oh man, what a play to Tyreek Hill.
Okay, also, what the hell, Tyreek Hill? Why do I forget every year that I should just take him in every fantasy thing as soon as possible?
He's got almost an identical 10-yard split to Brock Purdy, by the way.
Wait, he just went over to like 200 yards, I'm pretty sure.
That game is 34-30 with 3 minutes to go.
My
Chargers
God.
lead. Dolphins just threw a big 40-plus yard pass down to Hill. They got the ball in the 27 of the Chargers. And go Mozart. I got Mozart. Okay. Man.
I'm projected to lose in fantasy 110 to 106, but I have Garrett Wilson and Zerline going tomorrow night.
I got Josh Allen tomorrow night. Yeah.
At what point is Tyreek just the best receiver in the league? He's just so small. It's like I never want to like.
He's
say
just
that he is,
consistently
but
the guy. He's
yeah.
Doesn't
Mac
Mac Jones
out.
back to pass, looking down the field. Oh
no,
incomplete.
Oh,
It's 4th down, 4th and 12.
Which game's this?
This is Steelers Eagles. Hey, the Niners cleared all that cap room, guys. What do you think? Is that just like a one eye on Ayuk and kind of like, hey, this is kind of a prelude to whatever their weakness is at the end of October? This gives them the ability to trade because they'll have cap room.
I think so.
Because a lot of people were speculating about Brian Burns, but now with Drake Jackson having 3 sacks, I'll tell you, Kerry Hyder looked good today as well. He had a nice sack. Maybe, and with Bosa being Bosa, maybe the Niners can wait until October and kind of see where they're at. But,
Definitely.
I mean, you got to feel pretty good if you're the 49ers. You know, Chiefs and Eagles struggling. You destroy Pittsburgh, and you have the most cap room of any team in pro football.
That's crazy.
Right? I mean, and a full complement of your draft picks now that the Lance trade is fully – right, they have no more Lance trade picks, on the way out.
Those are all done. Yeah.
Those are all done. So it's 4th and 12. Here we go. Mac Jones at the it's 4th and 17. Excuse me. Must have been a penalty there. Here we go. Mac Jones back to pass. Penalty again or timeout. 2:23 timeout Philly. Well, they're icing Mac Jones. So yeah, I mean, final thoughts on this one, guys, is we're almost 3 hours in. We're going to finish up in the next 10 minutes here. You got a final thought on the day that was in the NFL, either from the Niner perspective or from any of the matchups around the league? Not tons of surprises, I would say. I mean, Browns slapping around the Bengals, I think, was probably a surprise.
Oh, is he going to get the – he dropped it.
Most people thought Jags would beat Colts. That happened. Vikings losing at home to Buccaneers, I think, is definitely a surprise. Saints beating Titans, not a surprise in the Dome. Commanders winning is not a surprise. Ravens winning, not a surprise. Lions beating Chiefs is a surprise, but everybody saw the Lions as an upstart team. Falcons beating Panthers in Bryce Young's first start, not a huge surprise either. Raiders maybe winning in Denver. Do you look at that? Or Rams. How about the Rams going up to Seattle? There was no Devin Witherspoon. Their first-round draft choice, the corner out of Illinois, did not play today for Seattle. But the Rams on the road, 30-13. Chargers are leading 34-30 on the Dolphins. 25-20 Eagles leading the Patriots, and it looks like it's over, right? The Eagles, the Eagles now have first down.
Yeah, no, it's
and then the Packers winning in Chicago. What's the big surprise? I mean, how surprised are you guys that the Rams with no Cooper Kupp went into Seattle and put up 30? Is Geno a one-year wonder? What do you think?
I mean, the fact that they did all this without Cooper Kupp, and that's pretty big. I mean,
Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. My goodness, both those guys went off.
What the hell?
I should have picked up Nacua.
And then not Cam Akers, Kyron Williams was like their bell cow.
And the Niners play the Rams next week, right? So that's the next matchup we're going to be looking at. So I mean, I think they were kind of laughable last year. Maybe this is the year that they're not. They
had 2 sacks and 7 hits on the quarterback. the Rams did on
Eagles
Geno.
game's not over. 2:09 to go. Patriots have used 2 timeouts, and they still have the 2-minute warning. 3rd and 6 for Philly. So if they stop them here, Patriots will get the ball back.
With how much time, though? Like 30
right
seconds
now,
or something?
No, they'll have full 2 minutes. Because there's 2:09. Unless I'm behind. Maybe I'm behind. Shoot. No, it says I'm live. Okay.
Well, we've always wondered if you were a little behind.
A little behind, just like my mother thought. Yeah.
Do you like Dan? I like him. He's slightly behind, if you know what I mean. Behind. NFL Niners for life says, what's up with Jalen Hurts?
He didn't
this
make
is our
it.
threat.
Fourth down at the 43-yard line.
I'm looking at 3rd and 6 at the 48.
Are they going to go run
they just ran it. They just ran it. It's 4th down, 2-minute warning.
It can't be a run. How could they run? There's no running backs in the backfield.
Don't.
No,
He did. Yeah.
Hurts,
There you go. Hurts ran it. Look at Danny.
4th and 2.
I'm like,
why would you? God, I really. I don't care if it's Trey Lance. I don't care if it's Michael Vick, Jalen Hurts. I don't care who your quarterback is. I do not like and empty the backfield and run the quarterback with no lead blocker as a standard play. When you look at the risk reward and what it means to have, what happens to your backup quarterback. Miami just scored.
Oh my God!
Take over on the Chargers.
Was that Tyreek?
Tyreek.
Oh my God!
Hey, what was that?
Miami
spread of
came
that
way
game?
back on Chargers defense.
I think it was 3. Oh, you know what? I have a final thing that I must proclaim. Madden, what the hell? Brock Purdy is still 73 overall, and it just simply is ruining my gaming experience. He needs to be at least an 80.
He sucks in Madden.
He sucks ass in Madden.
Yeah. What do you do here? 4th and 2. 2 minutes to go. If you don't make it, you basically give the ball over with 2 minutes to go to New England, down 5 at the 44-yard line, at their own 44.
Jesus.
Do you punt and try and pin them back, or do you go for it and win the game?
Oh, look at this. The the Dolphins just missed the extra point.
Oh.
So now Herbert gets the ball back with 1:45 to play at home, down 2.
Ooh.
That's going to come down to the wire. You're saying, what would I do if I were the Patriots here?
No, if you're Philadelphia, you got 4th and 2. Are you punting, or are you going for it and trying to win the game?
I'm punting, right? I'm leaning on my defense. The Patriots have no big play receivers.
I would punt.
Who do they have? They've got Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas.
Bourne made
Juju
a nice
Smith-Schuster.
catch for their last touchdown up in the back of the end zone.
Kendrick Bourne's got 2 touchdowns in this game. Hunter Henry has 1.
So this is coming up. This is going to be interesting. I bet you Sirianni goes for it. He seems like
double down on the Giants right now. I know we weren't.
Yes, double down.
I think
Dad, you want
Sirianni's
some? You
the
want
type
in
of
on
coach
some or
that
no?
goes for. I think he goes.
What's
for
that?
it.
What's that?
You want in on
Kev?
some of this doubling down on the Giants right now?
Yeah, I want.
you
I
plus
want
3
the
even.
Giants. What's that?
Plus 3 even.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take the Giants plus 3.
Okay.
All right.
What do you think that the Chargers are going to charger themselves?
They're going for it.
No, I think the Chargers are going to come back and win this game.
Here they go.
I think Chargers.
Eagles.
I think.
Eagles
Hey
are
guys,
going
my
for it.
Super Bowl pick is Niners Chargers. Who are you guys picking for the Super Bowl this year?
I had Niners Jets.
But of course,
wow.
I don't want to discredit it, but I had Giants Yankees World Series. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Oh, he's going for it. 4th and 2. Throws over the middle. Incomplete.
Oh shit!
Incomplete. New England's got the ball at their own 43-yard line.
So Eagles are going for it. 4th and 2 from the 44.
They didn't make it. They didn't
What
make
a
it.
botch!
Hurts in the shotgun. I'm watching it now. 3 wides on the right side. And who is that? Who's number? Is that Gutierrez? Who is that?
Dude, red zone
Yeah,
is
that's
moving.
Gonzalez. That's Gonzalez, the rookie corner from Oregon. That was a phenomenal pick.
Sirianni
He was great
went
on that
for
play.
it, man. I knew he'd go for it.
So the Chargers have a minute 38 to play. They're on their own 38-yard line, and they're going up against the Dolphins at SoFi, down 2 points. And who's the Chargers kicker, guys?
That's
Is
what
it Dicker the kicker?
Yeah, Dicker the kicker.
See, I
So
feel
now
like
here's
Dicker might botch it.
if Herbert is really badass, don't you think he's got to win a game like this?
Yes.
You're at home
Yes.
against the Dolphins. People talk about Herbert like Herbert's like won 5 Super Bowls.
I like Herbert.
He's 500. I mean, I like him too, but he's got to win games like this.
Yeah, no,
Like
100%.
No shots at Jordan Elliott because I love him, but I do remember him saying like that he thinks he's the best quarterback in the league.
Now the Eagles, the Patriots have the ball, and there's 1:45 to play, and they're down 5, so they need to get in the end zone, and they're approaching midfield.
2nd and 1, basically, a long one.
Where are they on the field? 40, right? Something like that.
They're on the Patriots 47.
We need some good
the
Dan
Eagles
Coach Emilio
40.
play-by-play here.
They're on the Eagles 47. I'll give you a little play-by-play.
Well, monster
here.
slam.
We need a little monster slam, damn it.
Oh, need some monster slam.
I mean, we need to make history. We need Danny to lose his mind.
Oh, man.
How's the channel going, Danny? Good?
Yeah, NorCal Sports.
If you get close to us, I'll bury you. I'll bury you.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about that.
If I feel you guys are coming close, I'll just have Kev put all kinds of untruths out there into the social universe.
Assassinate.
There'll be a huge controversy about Eric. Los will be investigated.
Twitter bot
will be investigated.
Okay, drop back pass, Jones. He throws.
Los is being indicted. Did you guys hear about the indictment?
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny's channel has lots of problems right now. If I were you guys, I'd leave there and get over here as fast as possible.
Get on the phone with the HOA. Start making complaints.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? The way Danny's staying up late and he's leaving the light on, those damn dogs are all taking a crap everywhere.
Hey, one thing I forgot to say, Dad. We didn't talk about how Lenore played. Did you see how many? Lenore had 10 tackles.
Lenore hit.
Yeah.
He really hit.
Down, Patriots.
Here's Herbert sacked. Oh my God.
That's Steve.
Jalen Phillips. That's Christian Wilkins.
Purdy would never.
Minute 18 to go. Jones takes the snap, drops back. He's being flushed out of the pocket. He runs to the left. He's running. He goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Where are you, Danny? I just saw him run for the first down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
you're ahead.
Little ahead of you. Yeah. Jones just rolled out to the left, got out of bounds, and he's to about the 35.
Now Danny's ruining the experience for me.
30.
Dan, too much power.
Now he's suddenly Tony Romo.
He's always ahead of me.
He's play-before-play Coach Emilio over here.
Yeah, this one from Chardal really hit.
You're like Shams Charania with the NBA draft.
You got to get a few wrong just to get us off the scent, dude.
And the Pelicans are going with. Damn it, Shams! Stop ruining it for me.
See, this would be a Herbert thing though to like convert this.
We got this one.
Everyone's gonna go crazy.
Jimbo says Herbert can't handle the pressure. Jones back pass wide open in the flat to the 20 to the 18.
Dude, I'm so
Who's
far
that?
behind.
Oh yes, Herbert.
Completion.
Yeah, well, I needed Mike Williams to get one more catch.
Danny, how much time left on the clock in the game you're watching? For me, it's 1:02.
1:02, yeah, just went out of bounds. Yeah.
Chardal says mute Danny. Can you believe that? Chardal's turned
Chardal.
on
I'm not gonna let you on my channel anymore, Chardal.
Chardal, you're gonna really go against Dan?
Yeah, I let you
on.
on.
Clarence Beek says mute his ass.
Wait, Larry, have you like experienced all the
Look at this up top? Oh no, go ahead.
Have you experienced all the fart sounds on Dan's channel?
No, but I mean that's high level.
What are we talking about?
Is that Eric bringing that to the table?
Jones, he's going to be sacked.
Is this after the Lumpia?
He has like a wide variety of different farts, like vegan fart.
Niner Gold says mute Danny, and now the chat is rising up. Mick and me says mute Danny. Look at this. There's just people rising up against Danny here.
Wow.
All right, is it over?
Here
comes Herbert.
He got sacked.
Herbert sacked. God, what happened to the Charger offensive line? Didn't the Chargers have a bunch of weapons? 55 seconds left. Is the game over? Herbert is pissed. Vic Fangio's sitting there going, "I'm the master."
Yeah.
Lord Fangio's dialing up the blitz. Oh, it's over.
The Chargers got Kellen Mond because they wanted to like prove that like it wasn't what Staley's fault for
Mac Jones sacked on 2nd and 10.
Yeah. Now it's 3rd and 13.
Ah, fuck.
Jeez. Throw the ball, Herbert.
God damn it, Herbert.
Once again, sub 500. Herbert, I mean, people love
11 now. Pac-12, 18.
Now Chardall's saying leave Danny alone.
Make up your mind, Chardall.
Chardall,
Right.
do you want us to beat him up, or do you want? Here we go.
4th and 11, 30 seconds left. He throws. First down, out of bounds.
No way.
Are you serious? I'm on 3rd and 13.
He got it first down.
I just saw
on
the 3rd and 13 pass
yeah.
to Stevenson.
Stevenson, yeah.
Wow.
Now Dan is bugging me.
Check that out.
Wait, is that Keyshawn Boutte, like the guy from LSU?
Yes, that's LSU. Keyshawn Boutte.
Is he out of bounds?
Here we go.
Is
Oh,
he
sure
out of
enough.
bounds?
Who?
Oh, he's
think
out of bounds.
Boutte was out of bounds.
He's out of bounds.
He's out of bounds.
Did they challenge?
It's going to go to the booth.
Yeah, unless his back foot was on when he caught it.
Oh, well, that kind of makes all the Patriots fans are so happy.
Was that 4th?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's it.
Oh, poor Booty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a second. When does he catch it though? Was his left foot down when he first caught it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going a little. They're not giving me the replay I want.
The last replay was the best.
Oh, tragic. If only he had a little more arm strength.
They used to call it. They used to rule that if the guy got pushed out of bounds. But
I know.
they
Now
don't do that anymore.
you can push him out now, but
Yeah.
you have to get 2 feet down.
Shoot.
So who do you guys got? Who do you guys got tonight? Rise going Dallas. We're going Giants.
Oh no, it's got to be. I'm going Giants.
You're going Giants.
Yeah.
Danny?
Well, I picked Dallas in a pool. I'm in this thing that's incomplete.
The Survivor.
But I hope the Giants win. Actually,
I had an all-time collapse in your Survivor last year.
Do well. Anyway,
Dan,
it wasn't
remember-
a Survivor League, but it's a. I tried to get that to you right, but it didn't get it to you in time. But it was cool. It's like a 10 pools. I'm in 10 pools for $60,
huh?
And it's got all kinds of different things you can pick. But what happened in that Charger game? Did it go final?
Yeah,
Chargers got beat. At the end there.
So
Eagles escape week 1, and the Chargers, lose at home to the Dolphins.
Jeez.
So I said Niners Chargers for the Super Bowl. Do you guys?
I'll go Niners
Make a
Bengals. Even though the Bengals look terrible, I think that's just per usual for them against this team.
God, I really wish I didn't have the evidence of today because I would have liked to do something unique.
Were you going to go chalk with Eagles Chiefs?
What about this? What about the Bills? The Bills, who have never been to even a conference championship yet, everyone picked them to win the past couple of years. I'll say Niners Bills.
I think Chris Berman's been picking that for years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Tua outduels Herbert. Danny, who's your Super Bowl pick?
I had the other
Lions
night,
Colts.
I threw out 49ers Jets.
49ers Jets. Kev, where are you going?
Niners Bengals. I think it's Burrow's year.
Wow.
What do you
the rematch.
So how many total yards did passing did Tua have? Did he have over 300 today?
Oh, he had like 470. I mean, that's a great one too. Is like
70. That's one of the polls. You pick each quarterback each week who's going to have the most passing yards, and you can only pick them once a year.
466 for Tua. 466, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. They only ran for 70 yards, only 3.5 a carry. Chargers ran for 234 yards at home and lost.
And they have to deal with the Tua narrative because they.
How about this too? The Chargers have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and they got 0 sacks and only 2 hits on the quarterback all day, and neither of them were from those guys. Sebastian Joseph Day had a couple of hits on the quarterback. Wow, that's an interesting one. And then the Monday nighter is Jets Bills. Who do you guys like in that?
in the Jets.
I think Monday night, Rodgers' first game in New York, Monday night being Rodgers' showcase all the time. I think the Jets win in a thriller.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it quits here. Give us your tease what you got going on, Danny. I know you got NorCal Sports Network. It's under investigation right now, but it seems to be gaining some momentum. How are you guys getting through the investigation?
Yeah, well, just a lot of humor.
I mean, those
right
federal
now.
agents had no reason to go. You live in a gated community. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like,
I know.
And they show up in the middle of the night and they're guns drawn and all because of you're critical of Cap.
Critical of Cap. Yeah.
Might turn that into a video.
Yeah. Critical. Hey, you know what? Too bad Eric doesn't have it in here, but we've got a photo of Kapler on the beach in a Speedo showing his muscles off. And the loser of our fantasy league has to wear the shirt. We're going to make a shirt with that picture that says Gabe is the babe. And on the backside has to wear it with front side with Gabe's head. On the back side, we're going to put a picture of whoever loses their head on the body. And they got to walk around Oracle Park at a game wearing that shirt.
You know, I was thinking about putting a T-shirt on our channel that says Giants Baseball 2023, we own the Rockies.
The other side should be Mitch Wisconowski with it saying, look how his balls hang.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about the ball. Danny before was very eloquent about discussing the balls of Mitch Wishnowski.
Yeah. Jeez.
Down under.
Oh man. Now NorCal
Danny,
Sports
go ahead.
Network.
Tell us
Sports
about
Network.
how often you guys broadcast before the investigation.
Well, yeah, we unfortunately we're on after every game. We are now we do Giants post game, and the show goes generally about an hour and a half, but we're now trying to cut the Giants talk to about 20 minutes because that's about.
So you're compartmentalizing your Giants inside the walls of your Giants post game.
Yeah, it's a lead in, but it's hard to talk about. I mean, you can only rip on these guys so much, and but yeah, we do cover a lot of other things. We're talking Niners stuff. Well, tonight we'll probably talk Giants, and then we'll go into the wrap up the NFL. Probably talk about our fantasy league that we got going. So yeah, it'll be fun. NorCal Sports Network. Subscribe. We need a couple hundred more to get to 1,000. So all right, to get monetized.
A lot of people were asking about you recently, and I said, you know what? We're going to have week 1, Niners Steelers. We're getting Rye and Danny back in the house. Do you guys have time to join us throughout the football season this year?
Oh, absolutely. I'm super game. It's great to be back. And a little plug. So my channel, West Coast Bias on YouTube, doesn't have anything very recent, but I'm moving down to LA tomorrow, and then I'm going to start doing a daily morning show. And also just some other bullshitting around at night. Probably a lot of mostly football, dusting of movies, ton of basketball. So
cool.
Sounds good, brother.
So you're gonna be down there with Jess, huh?
Yeah. You want to hear something that's pretty awful? So
wait a second. Wait? Can we vote on this? Okay, now go ahead.
Well, luckily this is buried at the end of the show, so she'll never hear. But so we got movers that were going to help us move like our stuffing. So we have still have a couch, all this crap from when we were living in LA. And I told her I couldn't make it today when everything was getting moved in. It was solely so I could watch football. So she had to stay in there all today, and she hooked it up. So now everything's in. I just get to roll on in and just have it easy.
She did all the work.
She pointed.
So all of a sudden she turns into, hey, Rye's on. Let's just check out the end.
Rye runs his relationship. This is the way I have spoken. It is week 1. I am Ryan. Hear me roar. So am I grabbing that right? All right, fellas. Hey, good stuff. Good to see both you guys. Ryan, have a great weekend, man. Good to see you. Maybe we'll talk to you next week.
See you,
There
Ryan.
you go, the great Rye. And Danny, you're in pregame mode, right? Because you got Giants on the brain. Don't they start at 4:00 right now?
I think at 5, or maybe they did start at 4. Did they start at 4 or 5? Maybe it was
maybe
Sunday
5.
night baseball. I think it was 4:00. Let me see.
Who's pitching tonight, Danny?
It is a 5:00 game. Tonight's pitching for the Giants. Who is pitching?
Logan Webb? Or no, that was
No, he
yesterday.
pitched yesterday. They're not even announcing who's
Wait a second. I'll guess. Ryan Walker. That's who I guess. I'm going.
Ryan Walker or John Brebbia, one of the two, huh?
Our aces.
Yeah.
You know things are going well when you can tune in and you always know you're getting Brebbia. It's Keaton. It says Keaton win against
that's
Lambert.
Right. Keaton win. Okay.
Giants are minus 220.
I mean, I like Keaton win, but he's a good guy. But Jesus,
down the stretch, and you're going Keaton win while you're trying to battle for a playoff spot
on Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday Night Baseball this week is doing nothing for ratings. There's just no way.
Well, they threw the Giants on because of NFL football week 1. It's like
let's do the Giants and Keaton win on Sunday Night Baseball.
That will pack them in.
That's exactly what they did. Let's see who
Giants Rockies Keaton win. That's the matchup we want to see.
There you go. We'll compete against the NFL. That we call that alternative programming. Danny, have a great night.
Hey,
everybody go join the NorCal Sports Network channel. Give Danny a follow. He needs your support all the way through the investigation. Danny, great stuff, man.
All right.
Thanks, we'll talk to you soon. There you go. There's no investigation, everybody. No investigation.
And he's never been the same since that investigation.
That channel was going great. They had lots of momentum, and then the investigation. Okay, Kev, final thoughts on this one. 30-7, Niners win. Purdy looks great. Jerick Jackson looked great. Brandon Ayuk looked great. CMC looked great. Dre Greenlaw hit like a truck. Wishnowsky and Moody were monster. Kyle is now 3-4 in 7 years. People are still looking for negative things to say about Brock Purdy. Your takeaway here before we call it a show.
Yeah, I mean, you just summed it up. I'm not going to bore anyone with more things I've already said, but I think coming out of this game, Brock Purdy looked great. He won another game. I mean, I don't know how you can't be happy with that. I mean, he hasn't lost a game. No one has seen a Brock Purdy loss yet, and that's really the most important thing to take out of this, especially when everyone was thinking that it was going to be a hard game to win. They came out and just crushed him. You and me were sitting there, and, when they started piling on some points, we were just looking at each other like, wow, like this is really happening. Like it's the same thing as last year. The offense is humming. The defense is just stuffing the run and not letting quarterbacks feel comfortable at all. And the Niners look great, and they did it against a great opponent. So it was a great day.
Arm strength matters. You got to have requisite arm strength. There's no question about it. But processing matters. Throwing with anticipation matters. Footwork matters. What you have between the ears matters. Your accuracy matters. Your timing matters. Your touch matters. How you handle pressure matters. All these things do matter. And does Brock Purdy have one of the best arms in the NFL? No. But what he does have is a pretty freaking gaudy record. And it gets better and better every single week. And next week, it's the Rams in SoFi Stadium. Let's thank our sponsors, MarinAutoGlass.com, 415-883-3030. They're a great company. You break a windshield, you crack a windshield, they come out to where your car's at, pop out the old windshield, glaze in a new one, sweep away the glass. It's a one-stop shop, very cost-effective. If you need a windshield, Marin Auto Glass. They're the only company I use. New York Style Sausage Company. The only sausage I will eat is New York Style Italian sausage. Also, Kev, we should thank Underdog Fantasy. We went this week.
Your bet, not your bet. Your player. Your what's it called? Your picks. I think they hit.
Came in right. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
went
Nico
with
Collins had 6
Nico
receptions.
Collins over 3 receptions. That hit.
And
And I went with Brandon Ayuk over 3.5.
Yeah, well,
So there you go. If
yeah.
you had taken
And
my picks
I told people
and gone on
to go Underdog Fantasy, promo code Krueg, you would have hit it. I went with David Montgomery over rushing yards on Thursday, and that hit as well. So, I mean, guys, you got to sign up. You got to sign up. We're giving free money right now. It's your free pick.
Here we go. I'll play it for you right here. All right, sorry to interrupt your video, but I wanted to let you guys know that we've partnered with Underdog Fantasy this football season. Underdog Fantasy gives fans a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. You can check out their weekly Pick'em players, where you pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on their game stats. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. This week, I'm going with Nico Collins, higher than 3 receptions, and Brandon Ayuk, higher than 3.5 receptions. You can enter the same as me, or of course, you can make your own picks. Sign up using the promo code Krueg, Krueg, and they'll match you up to $100. There you go. Underdog Fantasy right there.
Yeah.
Found money. Los in the chat says, Krueg, how'd you know I got indicted? You know us Sacred Heart guys. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Go Cats, get them Cats, go get them Cats. Riddy Musich, love how our classy players don't talk like that the 49er way. The 49er way.
Wait, one last thing before we end the stream. Mojo Fantasy is our other fantasy sponsor, and they just started with us last week. So we're going to be integrating them. So you'll see some stuff from them. You're going to be using the product. It's going to be fun. It's kind of like trading stocks, but it's with players. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Mojo Fantasy.
Fun. Yeah.
And we'll have that coming out on the channel here starting in a very few days. Also, thanks to Pig and a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krueg Show. Cannot beat Pig and a Pickle. 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle.
So New York style sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never gonna deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it, guaranteed.
All right, coming down the home stretch on the Krueg Show, 3 hours and 22 minutes into our live stream. If you're just tuning in, man, the 49ers had a phenomenal week 1 performance. 30-7, 3 sacks for Drake Jackson, 8 catches for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns for Brandon Ayuk. Brock Purdy was fantastic all day. He had a phenomenal 18-yard run on 3rd and 12 in the 4th quarter to salt away the game. CMC totaled 151 yards on the ground, 17 receiving. and he had the biggest play of the game, 65-yard touchdown run in the early third quarter, put the Niners up 27-7. Ayuk and Ray McLeod with big boy blocks on that run. Drake Greenlaw had huge hits today. Wishnowsky had some phenomenal touch on his punts. Jake Moody, the rookie kicker, went 3 for 3. Kyle Shanahan now 3-4 in 7 week 1 games. Niners defense held Pittsburgh down. Pittsburgh's offense had 2 yards in the first quarter. The Steelers got their first down right around the 2-minute warning at the end of the first half. Nick Bosa played. He made an impact. Niners get the Rams next week at SoFi, looking to go to 2-0. Brock Purdy, the only downside is he did get hit 7 times, which is a lot for sure. All right, that's going to do it for us. We have Clarence Beeks says to Kev, send the Underdog link out. And
yeah, that was my bad. It wasn't in the description. I just put it in there, so it's in there now.
Okay, so the link is now in the description of the show for Underdog. So if you want to join Underdog, please click that link in the description. All right, Kev, good stuff. Time to watch a little Cowboys G-Men on the Sunday Nighter. And what do we have again?
Giants +3.
Giants +3. Go G-Men. Okay, thanks to everybody. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to all of you guys. Until next time, peace. And make sure you check us out at 8:30 tomorrow morning with myself and Damon Bruce on the 49er Wake Up Show. Tomorrow morning at 8:30, brought to you by Palmetto Superfoods. Our first Damon and Larry Monday morning extravaganza. Join us tomorrow morning at 8:30 for that. Until then, peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Careful,